While you were out at the mall, I walked down to the bar to make some lonely folks not lonely anymore. When you decorated the tree, you didn't bother calling me, 'cause you gave up on me when I grabbed my coat and left. Now you wanna be with the one you love, and I don't think that I fit that glove. So when you hang the mistletoe, there's one thing I want you to know. I'm sorry that I'm all fucked up on Christmas.
Happy holidays, one and all. From the Igloo, from the bunker. It is 2015 coming to a close, and we're coming at you live here for the Gralien Grimerica Holiday Fandango 2015. Graham and Darren, live. Up in the frozen north, how are you tonight, gentlemen?
Good, Micah. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to you guys, man. It's really cool to be able to get together at the holidays and do this together. We're a little sad. Cam and Kyle have expanded perspectives with all the hell that's broken loose down there in Texas. They aren't really able to join us tonight, but, well, that's okay. We three kings of Orient are.
Yeah, seems like a new tradition in the making.
Yes, it is. Well, you know, that's the cool thing about the holidays. Is you can do that around the holidays. You can start new trends, or you can just, break all the rules in general. Really, whatever the hell you want to do. So, what do you guys have planned for New Year's, by the way?
Not much, actually. There's a sweat lodge. There's a local sweat lodge. Darren's got a train wreck plan.
I was going to say, there's Graham going all spiritual on us already, right from the get-go.
Yeah.
I'm actually going to have homemade juice Caesars and make appetizers.
Homemade what? Juice?
Lisa's going to make Caesars with her juicer. And then I'm going to make appetizers with my new pans.
Nice.
Yeah. I mean, delightful.
Well, it does sound delightful. I will be performing at Bearwater's Brewery with the Mr. Actually, Gralien ex-listeners know him, Smokey Waddell. He's the bass player in my band. I haven't been in like a band in 10 years that Dakota wasn't a part of, but he and I and the lovely lady Danielle Bishop are going to be performing together that night, New Year's Eve party, and then we're going to come back to Asheville and go to another musical New Year's celebration. So that's what I'll be doing. And of course, for those of you at home tonight listening to all this, Darren and Graham and I, you're not just going to hear us rambling all night. There are going to be a lot of folks who are going to be chiming in over the course of the evening. Special guests, we're not going to announce who yet. I think we'll keep it a surprise. We might drop a few spoilers along the way. But guys, we do have phone numbers, and we will be taking calls from folks who want to chime in and get in on the fun. Graham, why don't we take it to you? How can people reach the program tonight?
Well, they can call you on Skype. I got a number here. It's 828-398-4886. Can they also Skype Gralien Report, all in one word?
That is true. Yes. You can use the Gralien Report. And we've got a hashtag that Darren picked out for Twitter.
Fuck hashtags. That's my hashtag.
You're right. It's very simple. Just Fandango. That's our hashtag. So if you'd like to keep the conversation going on social media, that's the best way to do it. Chime in, hashtag Fandango on Twitter. And of course, we'll have a Twitter thread with all the links where you can hear this. You can hear it backstage if you're not already tuned in live to listening. But then again, if you're not really, how are you hearing this?
Exactly.
They might be at the Gralien Report, where we also have the live stream. But if you're at Gralien Report and you'd rather go to their website and listen to it, you can do that. And vice versa to the Grimericans who haven't been to the Gralien Report.
If the Grimericans listen on your page, don't come back.
Well, that's the fun thing, though, is that we do get to cross-pollinate just a little when we do things together like this. So, yeah, that number again is 828-398-4886. Skype ID, Gralien Report. Call into the program. Wish us Happy New Year. We hope to hear from folks at home. We already did have a few calls coming in. We may jab each other and engage in a little chin-wagging first. But if you don't get through the first time, call us back. We will go back to the calls here probably in the next few minutes or so.
Can we name that? Can we name the cross-pollination before we... Go in.
Fuck, I knew that word.
Graham
I knew that
spermia.
was going to get you all excited. I seen you. You'd almost hear your little part start pitter-pattering as soon as Micah said cross-pollinate. It's pollinate? Oh, blue balls?
Graham spermia.
Graham spermia.
Graham spermia.
I love it.
Like a bad porno.
It was, actually. Yeah. Well,
It's
you know,
probably
okay.
out there. I'm worried I'm going to stumble upon it one day.
Well, if we haven't stumbled upon it yet, tonight that's going to be our modus operandi, prime objective, prime directive, in fact, for all the Star Trek fans out there just as well. We'll make it all things it needs to be and much, much more. So what's the temperature up there at the Igloo, guys?
Oh, minus 10 maybe? Minus 12? It really is cold. Like
Celsius.
if we open the door, a cold draft comes in. We barely got the Igloo warm enough to not freeze the equipment.
Unbelievable. 57 degrees Fahrenheit here in Asheville.
57, so that's about, you're about 20 degrees warmer Celsius than us. Yeah.
Yeah, it's quite. But here's the thing. So check it out. I decided to go on a little road trip. Yeah, that's what I do. Oh,
minus 15 feels like minus 22.
wow. See, not so bad. Okay, guys. So it was 70 degrees down in Greenville, South Carolina, where I was with my adopted sister Susan today, and I said, you know what? What the hell? We're going on a road trip. And Darren, I don't think you heard this yet. We drove our asses down to Elberton, Georgia. We went to the Georgia Guidestones today. First time ever.
Oh, nice.
Yes, America's Stonehenge. And let me tell you, it was weird. It's first of all, it's a little bigger, I think, than most people would think from looking at photographs. It's not like Stonehenge size, but it's big. And, it's got all the different, New World Order treatises, lined out, but not just in English. I mean, it's got it in gosh, I mean, there's Sanskrit, there's English, there's also Greek, there is Egyptian. Klingon probably on there, for all we know. Yeah, but, there's this cat who I was introduced to by Adam Sane in Nashville a while back, and his name is Dr. Mike Bennett, but he goes by Dr. Future. He used to do a radio show called Future Quake, and he did this damn documentary about the Guidestones, which is part of the reason I wanted to get down there and actually see that, was because after hearing what he had to say about this, I think he's blown the lid on it. He traced the entire thing. There was a documentary that he and Chris Pinto did about this called Dark Clouds Over Elberton. And in that documentary, they have come to a determination about what they think the Guidestones mystery entails, who was behind it. It does, I'll say this, involve the Rosicrucians, and believe it or not, the guy who erected the monument had actually been, yes, I did just say erected. The guy had been a supporter of David Duke. Remember him? Ran around on campuses dressed up like a Nazi, all that stuff.
David Duke?
Yeah, not Dukes of Hazzard. Anyway, long story short, there is like a kind of a I don't want to say sinister, but it is a little of that involving that monument. So it was kind of eerie getting down there for the first time. Do you guys have anything like that up there in Canada?
We have a UFO landing pad, and we have Canada's Stonehenge here in Alberta.
But it's really just, you wouldn't be able to, there's no megalithic rocks.
No, it's all just like...
you'd think it was a medicine wheel if you didn't know any better.
Unless it was megalith that got fucking sheared off by the glacier.
No.
During the last meteor...
crazy? That's crazy?
Yeah.
So didn't you get some good pics around the Guidestones there?
I did. It was beautiful weather. It was sunset right when we got down there, Graham. And so Susan and I, we took my camera, and there were all kinds of pictures we took, and some really awesome ones. I mean, with that sunset coming in, I felt like I was in a different world, a different country at very least. And speaking of people in different countries, we do have callers come in. You guys want to go ahead and take a couple of calls?
Yeah, let's take some calls. Absolutely.
Here's how we'll do this. So that we're coming to you, we're going to go by your area code. Instead of east and west of the Rockies, you're going to hear your area code coming at you before we bring you on. So first we'll go to...
I got a jingle for it.
Okay, let's hit the jingle.
And Micah.
That is a beautiful jingle. Okay, so we're going to go to 219, area code 219. You're live with the Graliens and the Grimericans. Hello.
What's up? How you doing, buddy?
Doing well. Who are we talking to tonight?
Alex Lopez from Indiana, man.
Hey, Alex.
Hey, Alex.
How you doing?
We're doing great.
Are you with RPJ?
RPJ is not with us yet, but you know what? going ahead and letting the cat right out of the bag. He's going to be.
All right, listen to this. I have to ask something real quick. All right, I was thinking about it all day. If someone comes to you right now and asked if you could know the future, good or bad, would you want to know?
No.
No?
Yes.
And for what? You could do nothing about it to stop that. Let's say if like your mom died, grandma died, or you got rich and famous, would you want to know?
No.
Yeah, I think I would.
Of course you would.
I don't think I would.
You never know. You could be told 2 years from now you can be a millionaire. Millionaires, 3,000 shares, anything.
That's the good news. I'd be more worried about the bad news.
Well, Adam, I will say this. Okay. If we were to say no, Graham and I said no, Darren and I said no, Graham said yes. Now, here's the interesting thing. If we don't know the future already, then the alternative that's any different from what we already don't know is to say yes. So really, maybe one might say it would be interesting to be able to see the future. At least you could be that nutcase who runs around and can tell everybody that you know what's about to happen. And even if you only get your one moment of glory, you can at least seem like a psychic for that one moment. Like you said, for good or for ill. So I don't know, it might be kind of interesting.
Right.
What about you, Adam?
Alex,
sorry. Notice when I said that I turned into Alex Jones for just a second? Just barely kind of started coming out. Sorry, Alex. What about you, though, bud?
I would say no, man. I don't want to go ahead and know and then accidentally mess that opportunity up. It's too much for a human to handle, if you think about it.
It does kind of seem to be.
That's a lot of weight to carry, knowing the future.
But it is. It really is. Okay, what about 2016 predictions? Or if not predictions, maybe we'll make this a theme tonight, because I am kind of interested in 2016 predictions. Okay, so Alex, if you had to make a prediction about 2016, we'll perceive what we can of the future, which is what most of us can. Nothing. I'll assume that you are not clairvoyant, as the question would pose. So if you're not, at very least, what do you predict of or from 2016? What do you look forward to, and what do you think we may be looking at in the coming months?
Being successful, man. I'm a very optimistic person. I'm very happy. I'm always up for something good to happen. Every day is a great day. I wake up happy. So I expect something great to happen for the 2015 and the years beyond.
Absolutely.
What about you guys?
What about you, Grimes?
What do I predict for 2016?
Yeah.
I predict that.
Get him a drum roll, Graham.
I predict that Donald Trump will be president.
Oh, God, that's the one.
Really? Do you really?
No, I think he'll win next time, maybe. No, I think he's going to fucking just win it. He's just going to fucking win it.
Oh,
it's going to be crazy.
So about that.
Micah, I have a prediction here from one of our listeners.
Okay.
Both of us, if you want me to go through it quickly.
Yeah, please do. Go ahead.
So he says, first off, he's a huge fan of all the people participating in this thing. So he wants to go on the record so nobody feels left out. He says, all our podcasts are top notch, and RPJ is always a favorite commentator. My question is, with the New Year's coming up, who wants to place bets on a public announcement of extraterrestrial life in 2016? He says, obviously, the cynic in me says it's a long shot, but I actually feel like the odds are pretty good for NASA to announce some microbes somewhere. A lot of the big headlines in 2015 really set the stage for that next step, and the public seems sufficiently primed to accept the idea. Anyone want to go on record with a prediction or gut feeling?
Well, I don't know about that one. Again, am I understanding correctly? NASA will come forward with some sort of confirmation.
NASA, it's a different place.
NASA. Whoops. Did it again. So, anywho, Alex, brother, thank you so much for calling in. We appreciate the call, and Happy New Year to you, man.
All right. You too, man. Have a good night.
Absolutely.
I would
God bless.
say...
Go ahead.
I lost it.
Oh, yeah, microbes or life. Like
I
RPG
think
response,
if not
and
2016,
life?
if not 2016, I'd say before 2020.
I would say maybe before 2020 at very least. But I'll tell you what I think could be leading up to that. I'll tell you what I think could be leading up to that, and that is actually Elon Musk. I bet you weren't expecting me to say that, though.
Elon Musk for president?
Elon Musk. No. I'm just saying, again, in advance of any kind of big announcements about alien life and whatnot. I think that Elon Musk, I've criticized him a little because I've said, this guy could probably stand to go through some like public speaking courses. But he really is an innovator, and he really is maybe one of the only people in the technological sphere right now who really seems dedicated beyond all the political and geopolitical issues that we face as a civilization here on terra firma.
I agree.
Yeah, he's the one guy who's saying, let's get up to Mars before World War III breaks out. That way, at very least, we will put our scientific intelligence and prowess to work for us before it goes to work for the war effort. Because if there were to ever be a World War III, God forbid, look to the past. That's always, now, interestingly, war will drive technology in not only innovative, but in astonishing ways. I mean, we're talking near intelligence explosion. But by the same token, that's not going to be focused on things like space exploration unless it's going to be used for warfare. So, in terms of peaceful space colonization and actually furthering our exposure to our solar system at very least. Yeah, I mean, Elon Musk is really, I think, a kind of an innovator and certainly a person with the kind of foresight I think that we need in terms of looking out and realizing the problems that we face. So, with that, guys, what do you say we take our first break?
3
and
words, Micah. Alien false flag.
Yeah, there you go. I love it. That's perfect. Okay, so we're going to take our first break here. When we come back, maybe we'll go ahead and get one of our mystery guests on the program. People keep asking for Red Pill Junkie. Why don't you guys call it?
Are you going to play music or something?
We have our special Crimbus out to breaks, of course. You want to hear one?
Sure.
We're going out to breaks, baby.
Ho, ho, ho. Merry Crimbus. Crimbus? Who the hell wrote this?
The Gralien Grimerica Holiday Fandango 2015 will be back right after this.
And so with that, we will be right back. Yeah, you like that? So we've got those all night. You guys can't escape. Okay. But I'm going to tell you, that first one was a freebie, okay? The other ones are coming without warning. But Darren, go ahead and play us out to break.
I don't have a jingle. I just have music we could play. I thought we were already on break.
Okay, here, I'll give you a freebie. Don't worry. We'll actually go to break.
Play some music? I got some music here.
No, we'll play the music coming back from the break. We'll go out to break with this. Okay.
Wee, look, I hijacked Santa's sleigh.
Hey, get back here, damn it. Whoa!
The Gralien Grimerica Holiday Fandango 2015 will be back right after this.
Is this a commercial?
It's not. You're not recording this, are you? You want to make timestamps? So I think we're supposed to be able to talk to Red Pill Junkie and them.
I could cut it.
Apparently we're potted down and you're potted up.
I'm potted up?
Yeah. That's the go to break. He was like talking as he's exhaling. I don't have any jingles. I
have music. I think this is Matt Oakley.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Is this playing?
Some say they like coast to coast, but on demand, raw and uncut interviews, and all without no ads.
Voice. I like that. What's that? What's that from?
What'd you say?
From the high mountains Graylians of Appalachia. It's the Gralien Report with Micah Hanks. To join the program by phone, call 828-398-4886. Skype users can reach the program by calling Skype ID Gralien Report. And now, from hundreds of miles beneath terra firma, in the depths of the hollow earth, live from the Gralien bunker, it's Micah Hanks.
Is that supposed to do it already?
Well, it's supposed to say Graliens and Grimericans. Damn. Sorry about that.
We're west of the Appalachians.
I know, right? At least it had the numbers on there. I thought that was the tag-free version, but that's okay. It got the point across. But Grimerica in the house right here. That's the whole point of... Wait a minute, hold on. I sense a disturbance in the force. It's not just Grimerica. That's right. So we've got... we've got the Gralien bunker. Then we've got the Igloo. What is it down there south of the border in Mexico City? What do you call that, Red Pill?
Pyramid.
The pyramid. Ladies and gentlemen, our first
temple of sacred lucha libre.
I love it. Well, our first mystery guest is out of the bag, Mr. Red Pill Junkie. Happy New Year, happy holidays, Merry Christmas to you, brother, and thank you for joining us for the Grimerica Gralien Holiday Fandango 2015.
Hey, Feliz Navidad, guys. Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, our pleasure. So what's going on south of the border there, brother?
barely anything. I'm relaxing, kicking it back. I'm taking a few days off work. So, I'm barely being able to keep up with the news. Been wasting a whole lot of time playing silly video games on my tablet and not much else.
That's why we love you.
Thanks.
That's what we love about him. Oh, my gosh. What were you guys talking about during the break, by the way? I couldn't hear on my end.
You couldn't hear us? The chat room could hear us.
Well,
we were talking about the commercials. I was trying to overbear the commercials.
God could hear you, Micah.
On your end. See, we're doing this simulcast thing. The official stream is our Google Hangout that we've got in both locations, but there is the Spreaker. I guess that's probably
a little more backstagey. Apparently they can hear us through everything.
Yes, exactly. That's because it's coming from your end. So if you don't mute your mics, it doesn't work, you see?
Yeah, we don't mind.
Yeah, well, that's kind of the appeal, though. It's that's the ultra backstage end of things. But it's going to sound like a radio show on the Hangout and the chat windows that you got there. The Spreaker feed's going to be a little
gong
bit
show on the Spreaker.
Yeah, exactly. So that said, okay, guys, we're coming up. I think we've got our first guest that we're going to be adding to the program here, Mr. David Mathisen. Now, tell us a little bit about David, who's going to be one of our very special speakers.
David is, he's a Grimerican favorite. He's, I think I was trying to email him for a long time, and finally a virus got through to him.
Oh, yeah.
And that's how we actually ended up finally getting through to him. But he talks about how the stars are more of a tale of our past and how important star myths are and what they are in the Bible and how it relates to star myths and really fascinating stuff. We've had him on twice already. He's definitely a Grimerican favorite.
He's written a big book, like a coffee table book with visual images and stuff. And it's
like a textbook.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you, I'm eager to hear from him, and we have him here now joining us live for our Grimerica Gralien 2015 Holiday Fandango. David Mathisen, welcome to the program.
Hi, Micah. Thanks for having me on. Hey, Darren and Graham.
Hey, Dave. How's it going, buddy? Merry Christmas.
Oh, and also, hey, thanks a lot. Merry Christmas. Feliz Navidad. El Junkie de las Píldoras Rojas.
Muchas gracias.
How's it going?
Well, we're doing wonderful despite the technical issue that we've had all night. And Graham and I were sitting there with our head in our hands as we're going live, and Darren's running inside the igloo or outside the igloo into the cold, into the minus 20 degree chill to get, what was it? You were getting USB cables and what?
What was I getting?
What were you getting? Yeah, you went out to get something. You got a USB sticker for something.
When?
Rooms.
You had to leave at the beginning of the podcast?
Today?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was today.
I can't remember.
Oh, well.
Pro.
Memory of a goldfish. 8 seconds. See, kids at home, that's what television culture does to you. That's okay. David, why don't you tell us about what you've been doing here over the holidays?
Hey, Micah. Well, I've just been counting down the days to the big Fandango, mainly.
As have we, yes.
Yeah.
We were just talking about your great work and your coffee table book and how visual it was. How's it going with your work?
Hey, thanks. Actually, that is secretly what I've been doing, is basically staying up until 3 a.m. working on volume 2. So, and also taking some time out to visit with family, and so things are going great. I'm really excited about what I'm working on. That's top secret, but glad you got volume 1 up there. How's it working out for you?
Awesome. You know what I need, David, and you're the perfect man for the job. Is I need one for my kids that I can read my kids at night.
All right, I'll be right up there. Wait, I thought you have one up there. Well, before we go too far,
I have that book, but I mean, you should do a children's book of it.
Oh, a children's version, right? Yeah, right on. Yeah, I don't know. This is the first time I've actually spoken to Micah, and I've heard Red Pill on your show before, but I don't think I've had the honor of speaking to either of those guys, before. So I don't know if you want any background or shoot some questions kind of on the general level.
Well, let me tell you this. Yeah, David, because this is going to be one of those unusual experiences where there's a big crossover audience. I mean, Grimerica and the Gralien Report and our buddies in Texas who couldn't be here tonight because of all the weather we've had, Cam and Kyle of Expanded Perspectives. I'd really love to still see if we can get one of them to call in. Yeah. They told us at the last minute they couldn't be here because they have lost internet. They haven't got power. Our hearts go out to all the people in Texas. But that said, there's a big crossover audience. And so, yeah, maybe a little background would be really good. So, David, tell us about, how you got into what you do today and what led you down this line of thinking with regard to the work that you do.
Yeah, sure. Very briefly, I was exploring some of the connections between the myths and the stars that are suggested in Hamlet's Mill, right about the same time that I was getting into kind of Graham Hancock's work and ancient mysteries about the kind of monuments that are scattered all around our world, like we're living inside this giant ancient ruin. And the authors of Hamlet's Mill, which a lot of different people have referenced them. Graham Hancock, I think, is probably the first place I read about them. They wrote back in 1969, but they talk about how the world's different myths are also kind of like an ancient ruin in their own right, because there's some kind of a system operating there that they started to sketch out, but they said there's a lot of gaps. It's kind of like a Chinese mist painting where you can see the tip of a hill here and a tree there, but there's a lot that's missing. But they show a lot of evidence that the myths of the world were related to the stars. And I could, kind of immediately really get excited about that because I love the myths, have since I was little, and love going out and looking at the stars ever since I was little. And I was really excited to pursue that along the lines of ancient Egypt, ancient Greece, and then eventually I started to really, I don't know if you're still able to hear me okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I started to see that the Bible actually is also built on the same system, which is something that other people have written about before, but it was something that I was resistant to. And in Hamlet's Mill, they sometimes drop references to the Bible and how the Samson story is related to the stars, or the Book of Revelation might be related to the stars. But at that time, I thought that the Bible was supposed to be taken literally, so I didn't really want to go in that direction. But the more I saw the system, the more undeniable it became. So it's kind of like different people have written about these. It's kind of like someone has written, different people over the centuries have written about some ruins that are down in the jungle, and I kind of started to explore them. And then I said, wow, this is so fascinating. I kind of decided to camp out and start trying to map them and see how they all fit together, and kind of became obsessed with it. And the more I did that, the more a pattern started to emerge. So that's hopefully a semi-coherent explanation of in a short period of time of how I got to where I am now, which is sketching out how this system works throughout all the different myths around the world, including the Bible and Greek myths, ancient Egypt, North America, Central America, South America, Australia, the Pacific Ocean cultures, Japan, China, etc.
Well, that is fascinating stuff. It's hard not to get sucked in by this when you start really looking into it. And, it's funny because I remember having done the Gralien Report as a podcaster for a number of years. I remember Graham and Darren would email me. We all had the same sort of interest, I think, in a lot of the same sort of things that you're talking about there. And they would email me for years before we finally ended up meeting at the Paradigm Symposium. It's kind of funny that as I'm hearing you talk about a lot of that sort of stuff, where we all ended up meeting together a few years ago, I think it was a mutual interest in a lot of those same sort of things that kind of brought us all together. And it's kind of interesting that it coalesces around, this holiday broadcast this year where we're all kind of here together, still very much intrigued by the mysteries. And David, what you talk about, the consistencies, the mythological and maybe the archetypal consistencies from culture to culture that seem to exist around the world. So where does it go from there? I mean, what do you think in the modern world that we can learn from looking at the ancient mythic traditions and these interesting parallels, consistencies and things like this? Is there something that we can glean from that in the modern era that might help us maybe even move forward, as Graham was kind of talking about in the last segment with regard to Elon Musk? How can we benefit from it, do you think, in the future, or can we?
Oh, that's the really exciting part, because the way that we're usually taught to approach these things is, the stories in the Bible are about these ancient things that happened long ago to these specific people, and the Greek myths, the Trojan War, that happened in 1200 BC, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And in fact, that is taking them literally as if they happened in terrestrial history, and that externalizes them. It makes them about somebody else, some ancient king, some ancient priestess, some ancient warrior. But actually, I've wrestled with this for a long time. Why would they make all these myths? Why would they base them on the stars? Actually, it's a metaphor. I believe where I am now with my understanding of what I think the reason for this is to convey really important truths that we need in our day-to-day life right now. And really, I think what happened, and this, when you start getting into, what the heck is going on with Georgia Guidestones or this or that political thing, what happened is we had ancient wisdom at one point. Every culture had a set of original instructions, and everybody in the world right now is wrestling with the fact that those original instructions were subverted or lost or deliberately hidden, in particular in the cultures that became Western Europe. And then they went out and started stamping out everybody else's original instructions. So not to get too heavy or political, but that when you take these things and turn them into objective, hey, this is about you either believe in someone named Jesus or you're going to go to hell. That's actually a perversion of what they really were intended to say. But that turns it into, okay, well then I'm right and you're wrong. And it objectifies the people who aren't in my group. So then I have to go out and conquer them or turn them to my way of thinking. And that has gone on basically around the world. So I know there's a holiday bash. I didn't mean to go too heavy there, but that's, this is really pertinent to where we are right now. When you look around at the civilization that we've got and you say, well, why is the rainforest being destroyed, or why is, the river being polluted, and why are these terrible things happening? Is because our original set of instructions actually told us something different, and they got taken 180 degrees out. So it's got big picture, big society stuff, but it also has right down to like, hey, wouldn't we all like to be like, Obi-Wan Kenobi or the Kung Fu guy in the Kung Fu movies? It's, I've thought about it like Kung Fu master that you see in an idealized movie. Really, we want to be like him because we can always handle a fight. That's cool. But really, the ideal aspect of that character is he seems to be in touch with something deeper. He seems to be totally integrated in who he is. That's what we're really looking for. And that's what I think that the Iliad and the Odyssey and the Bible and the myths of the Maya and the myths of Maui across the Pacific are actually trying to tell us. Long-winded answer. I've left you speechless probably there.
Oh, that's okay. No, that's totally fine. I think so, the other guys. I think the other guys are the ones that are speechless there. Hello.
We are here. Yeah, I like that, David. That was well said. I feel like when you research this stuff, it opens you up to different versions of reality, and it's really realizing that what we're taught in school isn't like the whole picture.
Also, the fact that
all the subjects that you hear about on the Grimerica show, or that I've been flipping back through the episodes on the Gralien Report just to kind of get a little bit familiar. But all these subjects they touch, or the ancient wisdom that was given to humanity, it touches on them in so many ways. It's like we're sitting here in the middle of all this saying, hey, there's something we're not being told, or the conventional timeline of human history doesn't seem to be quite connecting all these dots. There's a few dots out here that the conventional thing that you're taught in school doesn't really seem to connect. And actually, the myths have a lot of answers for us. I'm not going to say that, we can totally understand. There are missing pieces, there's gaps, but there's a lot of these questions that if we knew how to ask, if we knew how to speak the language that the myths are trying to talk to us in, then we can say, oh, really? Reincarnation? They talk about that? Or, oh, they talk about raising your Kundalini serpent? Oh, wow, I didn't know that. I didn't know the Bible talked about that. The Bible talks about reincarnation. The Bible talks about shamanic out-of-body experiences. I never heard that. And, I never heard any sermons on that when I was exploring that angle. So I think a lot of the subjects that we're talking about definitely connect in. It's a vast subject, obviously, but anyways, hopefully I'm not.
No, it makes perfect sense. I'm sorry, RPJ, go ahead.
No, I was just wanted to mention that also it makes sense to base the most important myths on the stars, because, well, that's one thing that you can pretty much ensure that it will be still around, many generations to come, because everything else, everything that man creates, it's finite, it's temporary, even stone, which is probably the most everlasting material that humanity has come across with, it will not last forever. It will surely last hundreds of years, thousands of years, maybe even millions of years, but it can't withstand a really big catastrophe. So maybe that was also another reason why these ancients who wanted to impart this very important knowledge might have decided to put the instructions for it in the safest place they could think of, which is, up in the sky.
That's an interesting concept. Yeah, that's kind of interesting. That's why we have RPJ on from time to time to ask the really interesting questions. David, by the way, if people want to follow your work online, where can they find you by?
Yeah, well, I definitely want to reply on.
Oh, please. Go ahead.
Mm-hmm. Yes, please.
Red Pill Junkie just said, because I think that's a really great insight, and thanks for asking, Mike. I'll swing back to that, but
sure, take your time.
Yeah, I really think it's like I think the last time I was on Grimerica, Darren was saying how much he likes movies, and movies are great vehicles for, we could talk about the Truman Show or the Matrix or whatever movie that or the Star Wars movies that speak to us in some way and that have messages for us. And I've used Moby Dick. Like, a lot of people say, "Oh, Moby Dick, what a boring book." It's like chapter after chapter of Herman Melville talking about how you cut up a whale, how you make whale oil, the rope how you tie the rope around in the boat. But what Herman Melville's doing in every single chapter, he'll talk about the rope in the whale boat, and he'll go on and on and on. And then at the very end, he'll turn the corner and he'll say, "But we're all actually in a whale boat with a rope around us. And at any moment, that rope could catch our arm and pull us down to the bottom and we'll be dead." Or, the rope of fate. And he'll turn the corner and say, "You thought I was talking about the whale rope that's attached to the harpoon. I'm not talking about that at all. I'm talking about you, Mr. Reader or Miss Reader, sitting wherever you are in the world. I'm using," Herman Melville said, "what is the most awe-inspiring, majestic, amazing canvas? I want to wrestle with the biggest issues." Like, we just had a caller who called in and said, "Would you want to know the future?"
Right.
Well, Herman Melville would say, "Oh, hey, all the movies that are about the future? That's a question about predestination. Do we have free will or don't we?" I mean, think of all these, like Minority Report, where the three psychics tell you're about to do a crime. Well, what's it wrestling with? It's wrestling with, do we have free will? If the psychic says I'm going to do a crime, am I going to do a crime? It's also wrestling with, do we have too much surveillance? Do we have, how do we keep people safe without impinging on their freedom, without devolving into tyranny, without having Max von Sydow, locking me up with the guy from "Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?"
Right, we'll be there too.
Yeah, right.
That's horrible. I don't want that future, right? So, but the point Herman Melville's saying, what is the? I want to wrestle with predestination. I want to wrestle with the whiteness of the whale as a metaphor for, like, the uncaringness of the universe. It doesn't seem to care about humanity at all. It's like, all these insects. Does the universe think of us as less than insects? I mean, Herman Melville is wrestling with the biggest concepts that he can, and he says, "What's the biggest canvas I can find? How about the ocean? How about a whale? That inspires all the. That's got all the tools I need for the metaphors to wrestle with these gigantic questions of human existence." So back to Red Pill Junkie's comment, I think that whoever put together these myths all around the world, and I do think that they're connected. You can find, this is a sidebar we can go down, or maybe save it for another time, but you can find evidence that, wait a minute, how come these ancient Greeks are using the same metaphor as these guys in Australia? And that's a really unusual metaphor to tie to that particular star. It's almost like they're using the same system. Okay, back to the original point. They were looking for the biggest canvas they could use to convey the most profound truths about, human existence. And they said, look, the biggest metaphor, I know Herman Melville settled on the sea and the ocean and the whales, but there's something even more big that's infinite, that's over our heads. That's the night sky and the cycles of the planets and the cycles of the sun. And then we've got the different parts of the year with light constantly wrestling with darkness. And we go down to the winter solstice when darkness seems like it's about to win. And then we go back upwards to the days get longer than nights. And it's got all the tools that we need to impart these tremendous truths or to play with all these big ideas. And so, yeah, it, like Red Pill Junkie said, it lasts forever, but it's also, it's like the best possible, if you wanted to use a training aid to try and explain truths about the invisible world and the paranormal and out-of-body experience and what happens to the soul before it comes into a body and after it leaves a body, the stars are perfect for that. And they go up into the sky, then they go down into the ground in the underworld, At least they look like they are. It's got everything you need.
Wow. I'm just as fascinated by the stars as you are. And speaking of stars, we've got stars that are going to be joining us here shortly on this program. We got a little bit of a late start, so we ran a little late into the next hour. David, I want to thank you so much for being on here with the Grimerica boys and I. You and I will be in touch, by the way.
Hey, Micah, it's great to talk to you and Pill Junkie, Grimerica, Darren and Graham.
Likewise.
Thanks a lot for having me on. I wish everybody the very best winter solstice time and new year in 2016.
Absolutely.
Thanks.
And volume 2. Looking forward to volume 2.
Right on.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. Happy New Year, brother. And that's David Mathisen. Guys, wonderful night so far. We've still got callers calling in. So why don't we take a quick break? We've got another mystery co-host. Really can't call him a guest. He's really more of a co-host. But he was down. He's from down the way that I was today with the whole Georgia Guidestones thing. We'll bring him in during the break. But when we come back, we'll also be taking your calls. If you want to reach the Grimerica Gralien Holiday Fandango, it's easy to do. Call us at 1-828-398-4886, or you can also Skype us at GRALIEN Report, all one word. That's Gralien Report, one word on Skype. That is how you reach us. Guys,
and if you don't get through, just keep trying. We'll get to everyone eventually.
We will get to everyone, yeah. A few of you have been calling in during the break, and we weren't able to get to you, or I'm sorry, during the interview. We wanted to give David his due and proper. We're going to have a few more mystery guests as we're rounding out 2015. We haven't put a time limit on this, have we, guys? I mean, we'll go as long as...
Yeah, it doesn't really matter to me. I'm going to go get another rum and eggnog, but I don't really have anything better to do for a couple of days.
We'll do that, and we'll go ahead and take it out to break. It is the Grimerica Gralien Holiday Fandango with Pill Junkie, Graham and Grimes of Grimerica, yours truly, Micah, the Doctor of Doom and Disco, variously. It's kind of like a continuous, simultaneous state, quantum physics stuff. Don't ask questions. Just go along with it. I live in a bunker hundreds of miles beneath terra firma, and we'll be back right after this.
Oh, wow. Get a load of this crap.
All right, but wait, what the hell are you doing in here? Get back here.
The Gralien Grimerican Holiday Fandango 2015 will be back right after this.
We're back.
Well, go on.
Go on.
This is why you never hire a Mexican.
Yeah, I did throw him to the lions. Welcome back. It is the Gralien Grimerica 2015 Holiday Fandango. Hey, that was a good start, RPJ, but that's okay. I remember one time I was giving a lecture and RPJ was in the audience and I said, "How did I do?" And he said, "Hey, get better, amigo." Well, you know what? Now I'm here to tell you.
Okay.
Your radio introductions will get better with practice and with
so
time.
You got even after 2 years.
It's more like 4 years.
4, okay.
Oh, let us welcome to the program. We have a wonderful gentleman joining us here live from Georgia. I was down that way. I should have called you while I was down there. Mr. Joshua Cutchin, who joins us now here for our Fandango. How are you, sir?
Hey, I'm really happy to be somebody's date to the holiday prom. I'm not sure whose. Maybe yours, maybe Red's.
Graham's always up for a date.
It's actually Graham, by the way.
You should date. Surprise,
nice.
guys.
Nice.
Wow.
But no, it's great to be here and happy holidays, everybody.
Well, happy holidays to you. I hope you guys don't mind. We're going to go right to the phones because we've got people lined up who want to get in on the program. I believe that we have Rosie here joining us live for our holiday Fandango. Rosie, are you with us?
Yes, Mike, can you hear me?
Absolutely. And thank you for calling in. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Very happy to be able to call in and say hi to you and to Red Pill Junkie. Say that please let him know that I'm saying hi to him from Baja, California.
Oh, wow.
Ah, great.
Now, Rosie, you may want to turn down the sound on your speakers in the background because we have a minor delay. That's the fun with radio. So you might want to just pause that or turn the volume down. That way, trust me, we've been through this before. But welcome to the program, and we're so glad to have you here. And RPJ from Baja, California. You know, we're hoping to reach the four corners of the globe tonight. So, Rosie, what's on your mind?
I was very much in tune with what you were referring to, the stars and all that referred to the first part of the program. I also wanted to give my grain of salt in regard to significant coincidences, which is one of the topics that fascinates me the most when you deal with it.
Synchronicities, in other words, yeah?
Ooh, I have so many synchronicity jingles.
Do you really? Well, actually, okay, Rosie, I hope you don't mind. We're gonna toss it to Darren Grimes and have him do one of our synchronicity jingles. He has a bunch of special. Actually, he and I both put together a bunch of special jingles for this program tonight. So
you guys want the acapella, the Guns N' Roses, or the Rambling Graham?
I'm a Rambling Graham.
I think you just called it. Let's go Rambling Graham here. Synchronicity, much.
I'm a Rambling Graham with synchronicities all over the web. And Darren is skeptical about everyone and don't believe it yet.
That is a thing of beauty.
That's from a listener of ours.
Yeah, we rate synchronicities on the show.
Yeah.
That was actually quite wonderful.
I agree, Rosie. I agree.
Does Rosie have any synchronicities of her own to share?
Yes, just this past week, me and two of my partners were trying to get an office together, and we just seemed to be meeting before we actually sat down and said to each other, "Well, let's partner up. Let's do this together." We kept meeting. In like all of a sudden, the three of us were in the same shopping center, in the same store. We were in school. We went to the same area. We just kept bumping into each other until we finally sat down, and we all three had the same idea. We just hadn't talked to each other about it, but it was like we kept creating situations where we needed to face each other and discuss the idea that was very similar. And we thought it was very, very interesting how everything lined up so we could actually let it flow between the three of us. And that was because it happened like 5 times during the same week. It was really obvious.
Yeah, it's like the universe is conspiring to get you guys together. I like that.
It kind of felt that way.
It often does.
But in a good way, in a good, positive way.
Yeah. Isn't that interesting? The Red Pill Junkie, I bet you've probably had synchronicities. I know you and I have talked about it a little bit.
Oh, yeah, you know that, especially after the first Paradigm Symposium, it felt like the synchronicities started to go into overdrive. Somehow I think that after a while, they tone down a bit. I think it comes kind of in cycles. Like, I think that you will probably go crazy if the synchronicities were, running 100 miles per hour into your daily life, constantly without any kind of rest. But I'm a big, not believer, but I'm a big listener of synchronicities, and I think they are a very important aspect of inner growth. And I think that more importantly than that, they hint to the fact that consciousness and information play, in my opinion, a fundamental role into the fabric of reality itself.
Interesting. Hey, Rosie, by the way, I just want to say, despite all the profundity that we just heard from Red Pill Junkie, level with me here for a moment, Rosie. You and I, we're just both listening at this moment because of his accent. I mean, his accent is what does it. Right? Am I wrong?
What accent?
Okay, his wrong, poor choice of words. It's just the baritone, the deep baritone of
okay, that would definitely make it much better.
His voice is, yeah.
I don't think he has an accent at all.
Thank you so much.
That's the way we talk.
I love that. Thank you so much, by the way, for pointing that out to me, because if we were all, see, this is the funny thing about Red Pill Junkie. I'll tell you this, and Darren and Graham and Josh, I don't know if you guys, well, Josh, probably not so much for you because you probably heard him before you ever corresponded with RPJ, but
yeah,
for me, he was a nebulous character. He was an avatar online. And we would email back and forth. We did that for years. And when he told me I live in Mexico City, I said, "Oh, really? Did you move down there?" Because his English was so good when he wrote. He said, "No. I mean, I live here. I'm from here." And when he came up to the first Paradigm Symposium back in 2012, he calls me on the phone, and I remember it was so weird because I had in my mind what he sounded like, and he called me on the telephone to let me know he was at the airport, and I said, "How do I know that you're going to be? How will I know who to tell Scotty to look for?" And he says, "Tell Scotty to look for the biggest MFer in a black leather jacket that he has ever seen." And I was thinking, I don't know what to think. I don't know what to expect. I'd never
failed to remember me using the Arnold Schwarzenegger accent.
Yeah, and I still don't think RPJ sounds like Fat Albert. So you might want to reevaluate your interpretation there, Micah.
He called me and he said, "Get to the chopper." Yeah, no. But I was like, God Almighty, what do I expect? Like, he said he's big. Is he Jabba the Hutt? I don't know what to expect. And when he showed up, Rosie, he comes up and he's wearing a red luchador mask. And he pulls out a napkin. Yes, and he pulls out a napkin and he reads to me off the napkin, "Hello, Mr. Hanks. It is so great to meet you for the first time." And I was like, wow, I do sound like Arnold. Damn.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
It's horrible.
To be the worst Mexican.
Get down! I don't want to offend anybody, so I'm just going to stop. But it wouldn't have the same effect if I was just like, "Hola, amigo."
It's okay, Micah. It's okay because you're talking to two Mexicans, so that kind of makes it okay.
And a Canadian.
And Canadian. See, it's a multicultural, multi-continental. I mean, we've got North and South America all on like that.
Mexico's still in North America, Micah.
America's right
now.
Oh, son of a...
2 for 2, Micah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, go a little further south, and then we'll have both continents. You know what I'm talking about. I was trying, okay? I get points for trying, right? At least C+, B-.
D. The whole of North America. How about that?
Yeah, exactly. At least our mind is in South America.
The trifecta.
God almighty.
Oh, that's right. I'm in North America, too.
That's right.
Yes, indeed. Rosie, thank you so much for calling in tonight to the Fandango.
Oh, my pleasure. Keep doing what you're doing, guys. It's great.
Hey, thanks for listening. We do actually have some people in the Spreaker chat room from UK that said it's like 3 a.m.
Wow. They're really, and they weren't even turned off by the fact that apparently I don't know the difference between North and South America.
No, I don't think they do either. I think you're going to be okay there.
I'll be okay. I'm fine, actually. It's been a long day. Actually, let me tell you about this real quick. Let me tell you a little bit about my day. So it started at about 4:30 a.m.
Whoa.
Yeah. I often do this. I get up and I cannot go back to sleep. I just cannot do it. And when I finally roused myself, I got up and I was like, oh my God, I don't feel like driving all the way to South Carolina, having lunch with my adopted sister Susan, then driving all the way down to Elberton, Georgia to go see the Georgia Guidestones.
And not calling me, by the way.
I know. That's what I'm thinking, but
burn.
Josh, how far are you from Elberton, by the way?
I'm like 45 minutes away. I had nothing to do today. I was just writing my book, so I thought about calling you. I actually thought about calling you. I was like, I should totally call Josh because I know he's like right here in the pocket. Yeah, and it's not even South America, so I'm just busting your chops. Anyway, continue with your story. Sorry.
No, I actually did think about calling you, and sorry.
Calling? Is that someone calling? Huh? Who's calling who?
I was trying. We were trying to get a call in. It's not happening right now. So, but that's okay because we'll go ahead and we'll bring in some calls here shortly. I was trying to figure out who our next guest would be, and I think I have this all figured out, guys. Okay. Now, I read an article a few years ago that was about Fortean disappearances, and somebody tried to correct me. They said I misspelled it. They said it's Fourteen. 14. 14, yeah. They didn't even know what Fortean means. Josh, I know that you're an erudite scholar of Forteana. Would you like to define Fortean for us, please?
Fortean is any unexplained phenomena that is much in line with the original findings of the founder of said field of study, Charles Fort, most notably renowned for his Book of the Damned, which is a collection of esoterica, as it were.
What is
pretty good.
Forteana?
Well, Forteana is
the daily double.
Yeah, it's kind of like the what would you call it? I guess it's the research into the kind of weirdness that Charles Fort would have written about in his lifetime.
It's an easier way of saying the unexplained or the paranormal without putting that label on it. Is what it is.
Yeah, because I get kind of tired of the whole idea of like the paranormal and frankly the use of the term paranormal, which is why I like that term Fortean so much. And so again, those of the Fortean mind may know this next fellow that we have joining us, a very special guest for our Grimerica Gralien 2015 Fandango, which would have also included expanded perspectives, who are MIA tonight because of what's been going on in Texas. But right now joining us, not from Texas, we have the one and only Mr. Jestin Sellas, live here on the program. Sir, how are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing great. How are you guys doing?
Hey, Jestin.
I mean, we're marvelous. Hobbs.
Hello?
So, Jestin,
can you hear me?
We can hear you just fine. Hopefully you can hear us. We're working out the kinks, but now, 2015, how did it treat you? Because if it didn't treat you good, I'm coming after it.
Well, Sasquatch still hasn't been found, so it could have been better. But, I'm really hopeful for 2016.
Well, about that, I mean, do you think that Sasquatch could be found? And do you think it's a reasonable estimation that we might say that the guy, the big hairy one, might turn up here in the next couple of years? And when I say that, I mean, will we have a actual reckoning with a non-human species, a physical creature that exists, or are we all just, wasting our time?
I think there probably comes a certain point where someone can become disheartened and give up on the hope. But that won't come in my lifetime because I will always be hopeful that the big hairy man of the forest will be found
and shot.
Whether it be Darren shooting him or just finding him alongside the roadkill. As long as he's found, he's proven, I'll be happy.
I'm hopeful, and I've got some ideas about that. But I've been running my mouth enough already as it is, so I'm going to turn it over to Darren. Darren, apparently a firearm owner in Canada that I didn't know about.
I don't have a firearm yet.
A bow and arrow, then.
But when I do get one, I will shoot Bigfoot. It's not a mission of mine or anything like that. I'm just saying, if I'm out hunting and a Bigfoot walks by, I'm going to shoot the fucking thing. And I encourage any other hunters that are out hunting, if they see a Bigfoot, to just shoot it.
See, but you say that.
How would they know if it's a Bigfoot?
Well, you got to be sure. Don't just shoot anything bipedal. If it's not human, just shoot it and say it came at you.
Yep, but see, that's what everybody always says, is that it looks so human. What if it looks just like a tall, hairy Micah Hanks? It looks at you with those big, beautiful eyes and just stares into your soul, and then you have hesitation pulling the trigger, right?
Wow. Hey, Darren.
Just so you know, Micah. Just so you know.
I'll remember this.
Micah, if you go out in the mountains and you see a Bigfoot that looks like Darren, you have my permission to shoot it.
Shut up!
I can tell Josh was on my side, and he wouldn't shoot the Bigfoot. I would take a bullet for the big guy.
You see, I'm pro kill if it's somebody else. I don't think I could do it. Yeah.
You know, Josh, I'm right around those lines too. I don't know if I.
Hey, Graham, let's go with a hypothetical question here. What if David Paulides were to find out and prove that Bigfoot is behind the disappearance of all those American hikers in national parks?
It's just dragging off hikers.
Yeah.
It's probably what's happening.
Then
I don't know. I don't think that. I don't even believe in the death penalty. So why would I shoot Sasquatch if he's stealing people? Who knows?
As long as you don't drive slow in the fast lane beside another slow car, because then Graham will fucking kill you.
Hey, say what you really think, Darren. Okay, don't candy coat it. Justin. Okay, so I don't mean to put you on the spot, brother, but I want to ask you a question.
Go for it.
So, if you had to pick one Fortean story of 2015 of significance, I mean, one that really resonates with you, what would it be?
Oh, that happened in 2015.
Yeah, it has to be yearly. It has to be something that's contemporary.
Well, the one that just pops up top of my head is the Exorcist case. The family, I forget where, but the house was bought by the Ghost Adventures guy, Zach Baggins.
Right.
Yeah.
You know which one I'm talking about. The kid was walking up the wall, was seen by the family care worker and then the grandmother.
Noise? Was this in Chicago?
Those are the...
Chicago, that sounds right.
All right, yeah.
I was just going to say, those are the fractal mantoids in the background. I thought you were talking about that noise.
What noise?
Yeah, different noise. Sorry, Justin, I'm so sorry. Go ahead.
That's the one that pops out to me. I mean, I would have liked to known more about it. The last I heard that more new people have moved into that house, and nothing has happened. So what was the deal with that little possessed kid?
It's kind of weird, isn't it? And I want to go ahead and, at this point, remind folks that if you're listening live, I'm seeing the tweets coming from people. We are taking live calls tonight. It's a very unusual circumstance because not only are we live and we have our guests like Jestin who are joining us tonight, but you can join the program just as well. Here's how you do it. You can call us by phone, the old traditional standby, 1-828-398-4886. That number again is 1-828-398-4886. You can Skype us at Gralien Report, Gralien report.com. We have a hashtag that we are working on Twitter tonight. It's quite simple. It's Fandango. If you follow us on hashtag Fandango, we're carrying the entire thing. You can also follow Grimerica, Gralien Report, or me, Micah Hanks, at all of the above, at Micah Hanks, at Grimerica, and at Gralien Report. Now, coming back around to this discussion about Bigfoot.
Doesn't seem like we're the most popular Fandango hashtag.
We're working on it. It takes years to build a good hashtag. Okay? And the hundreds of people tuning in right now listening. Okay, I know you're disappointed. I know you wanted thousands, but the hundreds of people tuning in listening right now, they're just going to have to deal with that. If they aren't using it, their own loss. Hashtag Fandango.
Fandango's a movie.
Shut up.
With Kevin Costner. Really good movie, by the way.
I like Costner.
Yeah.
Everyone hated Waterworld. I didn't mind it.
Everybody hated Waterworld.
Hold on. One at a time. Justin, go ahead.
I was just saying hashtag Fandango 2020 is going to be huge.
Yeah, exactly. Give it years. Oh, it's going to be off the hook. Okay, that's Justin, right. Talking about Bigfoot, what are your thoughts, by the way, about, like, for instance, the DNA study that Brian Sykes did this year? I know I've talked about this a lot on the Gralien Report, and when I was on Coast to Coast the other night, Jimmy Church and I talked about it a good bit, but I've been interested in this subject not because they proved anything. They didn't find anything, but we saw science giving serious attention to the subject of, can we prove that Bigfoot, or as they termed it with the study, an anomalous primate, exists. So what did you think about that study?
It's funny because I just listened to this episode today, catching up on my Gralien.
Good boy.
Did you watch the Bigfoot Files with Brian Sykes when it aired?
I did not. I don't own a television, unfortunately.
Well, I use the interwebs to view the show.
I should do likewise.
Whether or not we need DNA now to determine a new species has actually come a lot less. We don't actually need DNA. There's recently been a new species of fly, I believe, that was...
Did you say lie?
Be a new species just through an HD picture.
Yeah, but, proving the existence of a fly is a bit different than proving the existence of what right now is still a mythical humanoid being roaming the Pacific Northwest.
That's actually a good point.
While I totally agree with that, it goes to the point that the acceptance of a new biological entity is moving forward than just having a type specimen.
I see what you're saying. I see both cases, by the way. RPJ, there could be nothing more significant, I think, in terms of our survey of biological life on Earth than to find an anthropomorphic ape species very similar to modern humans but different enough that it is more like an ape or at least a pre-modern human than what we know today to exist as modern humans. By the same token, as Jestin is saying, our technology is getting to a point where we can rely, as we couldn't in the past, obviously. Let's just look at the entire UFO field. We can now rely somewhat on high-definition video. And see, this is the funny thing. A lot of people were disappointed with the show that I did a while back on the Gralien Report, where I had my buddy Gary Holloway on the show. He's a licensed drone, actually insured drone operator. He operates drones equipped with HD cameras. And I thought, if we had, and this is what we talked about on the program, how drone technology equipped with HD cameras may change the face of the search for something like Bigfoot. Back in the day, the best thing that Grover Krantz, anthropologist, had to work with was footprints. And he actually proposed, based on the evidence presented by footprints, a taxonomical name, Gigantopithecus blacki, for what he believed was an actual extant pre-human, actually, I would say, rather than pre-modern human, I mean, more like a giant anthropomorphic ape species, i.e. our concept of Bigfoot. If we have drones, what happens when we swoop the drone in within 5 feet of the thing? It's waving its arms trying to knock the great big bug down out of the sky. It takes off and we're following it, and we have undeniable high-definition video proof of something that could not be a guy in a suit.
But what would make it undeniable?
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Justin.
No, I wasn't saying anything. What did you say, RBJ?
That what would make that footage undeniable?
Well, here's what I would say. There are the existing arguments that John Chambers or someone in Hollywood special effects may have faked the Patterson Gimlin film. Mm-hmm. Now, if we have something that is a actual biological life form and it is physically larger than a human, it would be difficult with the technology and with the with the special effects wizardry available to us today, but there would have to be a decent budget behind something that would fake anything capable of fooling a biologist or an anthropologist. And so I would say that, if we had decent up-close footage of something along the lines of a Sasquatch that was filmed with a drone, if these creatures exist, and that's a big if, I think that decent up close, I mean, I'm talking within a few feet, HD footage would probably do us far better than grainy 16 millimeter footage from a distance, which is the best that we have to date, which was the Patterson Gimlin film. That may
also
not
take a body over like 3 hours of footage.
Sure, yeah. Which brings us back to the shooting argument. So, hey, Justin, would you shoot the thing if you saw it?
I don't think I would, but if I was with Darren, I would definitely spot for him.
Oh my God,
that's just as bad.
To me, it all comes down to motivation. Like nobody's out there with any desire whatsoever to fake footage of a new species of fly. So, ergo, new footage of a fly is going to be accepted a lot easier than people, who present footage of Sasquatch. And I think that, you got to have a type specimen. I mean, it's that's where it is. So, I mean, if I knew that it wasn't from a moral / spiritual standpoint, if I knew that it was a human-like ape and not an ape-like human, yeah, I'd probably pull the trigger.
Nice. Well, Josh, the funny thing about that is that as you're saying that, I was thinking about this. Yes, the problem with trying to prove Bigfoot is that we have a animal that, unlike all other animals in the animal or plant, for that matter, kingdom, we're talking about something that more closely resembles a human being than anything on Earth. We're talking about a large bipedal dolphin. I'm sorry, it far more resembles a human than a dolphin does.
Yep,
Darren.
Maybe not.
Darren, where's your US?
I never talked to a Sasquatch.
Okay.
We need your stats though, Micah, because I'm going to keep a tally now of all the people we talked to tonight.
Okay.
Shoot or don't shoot.
My stance on whether we shoot one?
Yeah.
No, whether you shoot one or not.
No. In general. You don't have to shoot it. You can tell your buddy to shoot it. You don't even have to be there.
Shot or not.
I got to say I couldn't actually in good confidence. I couldn't in good confidence if I saw something that looked like a human but covered in hair and far more primitive in its action. I couldn't in good confidence shoot that and say, okay, well, and see, a lot of people have said to me, well, if you see the thing, shoot it. Why do hunters say that they see this thing and that they look at it through their scopes and they don't shoot the damn thing? To me, that's bullshit, and I'll tell you why. Because, again, am I going to shoot a human being? I'm actually trained as a hunter. I'm not, really overtly fond of guns, and there's I think this misconception that if you own a weapon or if you have shot a gun, that you are a gun-toting, conservative or whatever. I don't consider myself that. I own a firearm, and I have had extensive time in the field with a firearm with having undergone training for the proper use and the safe carrying of a firearm. And that made me dislike firearms more than anything, recognizing and coming to terms with the danger that a firearm presents. You begin to respect a firearm, and I think that kind of a fear really is what we call a respect for the weapon. Now, that said, the last thing that any hunter or person who is trained with a firearm will do is to shoot anything that they have not conclusively or positively identified, which is exactly what hunters who have not shot Bigfoot but claim that they have looked at one and eyed it through the scope, that's what they say that they've done. They say, I was looking at something that looked so human, I knew if I shot it, I would be committing murder.
Bingo.
Well, we need to say it's okay then. We need to publicly let people know it's okay to shoot Bigfoot.
No, we just need a
shame. It's like there's shame.
Yeah, it was publicly okay to kill a Jewish in the time of the Third Reich. That didn't make it okay.
Wow.
You see, that's and coming back to RPJ's point earlier about what
Bigfoot the same right as Jewish people.
It's just an analogy.
No, the point is at what point? See, we have had courts that recognize a chimpanzee.
Mm-hmm.
And therefore, more specifically, as an entity, if not a human being,
a non-human,
exactly, a non-human form of consciousness that is semi-intelligent. Presumably, what we have in the Sasquatch literature, again, a creature like this exists, is we have an intelligent creature that is capable of carrying itself in a way that has the rudiments of culture, and that is very similar to a primitive human. Maybe larger, maybe more primitive, but nonetheless very much like a human being. So what we have with Bigfoot is something that pushes the boundaries between human and animal. And as far as hunting goes, I think it's the stupidest thing that I could ever imagine anybody saying. And I have friends who maintain this, but I still got to say it's really dumb if you think it's okay to shoot something that looks like a human being. If you have proper training with a firearm, you would never do that. You would never even consider shooting anything that you cannot positively identify. Now, name one person who has seen a Bigfoot that can positively identify it as a known species. They might have an idea that it is the quote-unquote mythical Sasquatch, but they can't positively identify that as being an animal species or as being something that is potentially not human.
Yeah, and can you imagine being, 150 feet away and shooting something like, oh man, I bagged Sasquatch, I'm going to be the most famous guy in the world, and you get up there and it's a guy in a ghillie suit? Can you imagine the way that you'd feel?
What would you do?
Well,
you would be tried for murder is what would happen.
No. Well, let's put it this way. Without Bigfoot, then what's the next smartest thing to humans on the planet? Dolphins? And we're slaughtering them fucking things 1,000 a day and putting them in tuna cans that we're all eating. But we don't give a shit about that.
Well, see, I do. And that's I understood where you were going.
We know the dolphin exists.
That's a great point. Do we have, and that's the question actually, and let's get into that because I don't want to just completely bogart the entire conversation with Bigfoot here. But Darren, you bring up a great point. Dolphins are capable of communication. Dolphins are capable, like parrots and other species, of mimicking human speech. Dolphins are incredibly intelligent. They may be, I guess, technically they're cetaceans, but they are very similar in their ability to interact to humans and to land-dwelling animal species. Okay, of the mammalian variety. And yet, because they are different enough from humans, yes, they have been slaughtered. They have been killed. And, is that any more right? Look, I'll tell you what. Even further removed from mammalian species, as far as aquatic species go, we have, squid. We have squid, cuttlefish, octopoids. These are creatures that are highly intelligent, but they are invertebrates. They look nothing like us, and yet they have the rudiments of language and communication abilities. Think about it.
They might even be smarter than us. Who knows?
Yeah, a wise philosopher once said to me that, how do we know that intelligence, the preeminent intelligence on Earth, is human intelligence? How would we know beyond the anthropomorphization of our ideals and our attitudes toward intelligence? Could it be that dolphins or squid or whatever else may be the most intelligent life form on Earth? It could be.
What did you think was bullshit, Micah, on that? You think it was bullshit that a hunter saw Sasquatch, looked in his eyes, and then decided not to shoot?
Not at all. No. It's just the opposite. That's the whole thing.
Okay, yeah, right. Okay, good.
It's okay as long as you eat it.
No, I just don't. See, let me clarify about the Bigfoot thing, Graham. It's bullshit to say that a hunter, and this is the thing, hunters have been criticized for saying, I saw it, I couldn't shoot it.
Right. Yeah. Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, I agree.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
You'll never hear me say that. Instead, I'll be saying, I'm sorry I shot that kid in the ape suit.
Darren,
thought he was a Bigfoot.
If you really think that, though, Darren, that's bullshit because you're talking about, justice for dolphins. We're talking about justice.
I'm not talking about justice for dolphins. I'm just talking about double standards. Kill all the dolphins you want, but then don't fucking preach to me that it's okay to not okay to kill a Bigfoot.
Oh, but come on, there's a difference between
Hold on, Josh.
Nobody in this conversation is catching dolphins in their nets. That's a big difference between that and all of us ostensibly live within relatively close proximity to actually being able to go out and bag a Bigfoot. There are Bigfoot supposedly 2.5 hours north of me, Micah. There's supposedly Bigfoot in your backyard. Up in Canada, there's this is something that could actually happen to us. None of us are.
It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Hold on, guys. One at a time. Josh, go ahead.
No. So I'm just saying it's on a completely different playing field. I mean, it's one thing to be against the slaughter of dolphins as unfortunately collateral damage, which I think we all are, versus actually being the person to pull a trigger and kill a dolphin, or extrapolating that being the person to pull a trigger and kill a Bigfoot.
But I'm not saying that the argument isn't that you have to shoot the Bigfoot. It's just is it okay to shoot the Bigfoot? Should the Bigfoot be shot?
But then why can you say it's okay to do something that you yourself wouldn't be willing to perform?
Well, you probably wouldn't do all the shit it takes to make a hamburger.
I would.
So would I. But something says RPJ wouldn't.
That's a valid point.
I'd stop eating hamburgers before I did that.
Exactly.
Well,
see?
This is interesting. Let me put this out to the listeners, okay? This is an interesting conversation. It's rather controversial.
Mm-hmm.
And it really, I think, comes down to how do we define the difference between man and beast? I'm not sure there is a difference, but I would love to hear from people in the listening audience. You can call into the program. Please call in with your thoughts. 828-398-4886 is the phone line to reach us. 828-398-4886 for the Gralien Grimerica Holiday Fandango. You can also reach us at Gralien Report on Skype. That's Gralien, Gralien Report on Skype. We would love to hear from you. If you have thoughts, please call in, share your ideas. We'd love to hear from you. Okay, I'm sorry, Red Pill, go ahead.
No, I have finished.
Well, let me ask you this. I mean,
okay.
Here's a question, and actually anybody who would like to answer. The question I have here, and we will have more special guests. Actually, we have more holiday guests that will be joining our Fandango tonight, who will be chiming in a little bit later in the program. But as we're continuing this portion of the conversation, I will ask this: does Bigfoot, based on the anecdotal evidence that we have, the eyewitness reports, and what people describe experiencing, do we have something that actually seems to have the rudiments, I guess, of culture? I mean, do we have anthropologically what people might recognize as culture within the literature based on Bigfoot, or have we fallen horribly short of having that kind of information? Is that something we should look for in the future?
It's a very difficult question to answer, in my opinion, because culture in itself, it's so difficult to define. The term pertains such a broad spectrum of different things. For example, imagine that you will define culture only by something that could be, written. I mean, that you would use written language as the basis to judge or catalog culture. Then you will say that Native American people will have no culture because they didn't have language. But they have instead an incredibly rich oral tradition and a way to impart knowledge across many, many generations. So it's very, very difficult to know. I mean, how do you even start to define culture? How do you even, what is the standard? What is the yardstick you'll use to measure such a thing? So I don't know. I mean, some scientists, Jane Goodall, I think, and some people have started to analyze or study chimpanzees, which we brought earlier in the conversation. And they have started to say that, based on a certain level of parameters, you could say that chimpanzees have a very rudimentary form of culture.
Yeah.
They can make tools, and they seem to have as a very primitive form of societal structure. So in a way, and they seem to have a way to teach their young how to make those tools, So they have a tradition that they're starting to pass on to the next generation. So in a way, from that perspective, chimpanzees have culture. So it's incredibly difficult, and it's an interesting question. I think it's a question that should be discussed, should be tried to tackle, because I don't think we will be able to come up with an answer, but I think it will be able to bring us to even more interesting questions.
What if Bigfoot's just a Krampus?
Or a Wendigo.
Or a Wendigo, yeah.
An emasculated Krampus who has lost his horns.
It could be the case. hey, you guys in the gig in the Igloo almost. You guys in the Igloo, are you like running a heater back there? I hear something.
That's a heater, yeah. It's fucking cold out, man. We're in Canada.
It must be cold up there. Okay, it's cold enough. We should take a break. Here we have another mystery guest that will be joining us here hopefully in the next segment. We're actually right at the top of the hour, so we're going to go ahead and take it to a break. It is the Grimerica Gralien Report Holiday Fandango. We are enjoying this conversation and, of course, enjoying hearing from all of you out there. Reach us by phone, 828-398-4886. Skype ID Gralien Report. We would love to hear from you. Please do enjoy the program. Call in if you like. We're going to pick things up here with a certain amount of holiday cheer, I think, on the other side of this break. Stay with us.
Ho, 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 dashing through the snow.
This is Richardson Air Force Base. Please identify yourself or we will be forced to take action.
Goodness stuff. Where's that microphone?
I wish I could not have ads in the Spreaker feed.
Yeah, so you can override those in your music.
Grimerican Holiday Fandango 2015. We'll be back right after this.
Why's one man rich and another man poor? Why we ain't satisfied? Why we gotta have more? Why your suicide rates on the rest so high? Why I tell you the truth but you say don't lie? Why is being a good father at an all-time low? Why is it acceptable? Yo, why? I don't know. Why she blame him and he blame her? It's useless. Ask yourself this question. Why you making excuses? Why do parents gotta bury their kids? Why we text and drive, not caring how scary it is? Why it's so hard to forgive and leave the past behind? And if you did, then that's divine. Why don't you help your brother when you see him fall? Why do we act like God don't see it all? Why do we call them black, them white, them Asians and use labels? Now that's racism.
I don't wonder how when they.
Why?
I don't wonder how when they. Yo, why? I don't wonder how when they.
Why?
I don't wonder how when they. Yo, why? I don't wonder how when they.
Why?
I don't wonder how when they. Yo, why? I don't wonder how when they.
Why?
I don't wonder how when they. Yo,
why is there innocent people locked up for life? While some people can't say nothing nice. Why do we always gotta question what all of it means? And why won't you follow your dreams? Tell me why. The night when you took my dad, why'd you let me see my grandpa cry? And tell me why. And why do you choose to hide, even though you was born to fly? And tell me why. And why don't we turn from all the hate? And why don't we learn from all mistakes? Why do I keep on wrecking these fat beats? And teachers don't make more than professional athletes? And why? And why? And why? And why? And why? And why?
I don't wonder how when they. I don't wonder how when they. Yo, why? I don't wonder how when they. I don't wonder how when they. Yo, why? I don't wonder how when they. I don't wonder how when they. Yo, why? I don't wonder how when they.
Joining us across 3 different countries on an unseasonably warm winter solstice, here we are, the gentleman from Grimerica, the Gralien Report, and some stragglers and hangers-on. It is the Grimerica Yuletide Fandango Happy Christmas Celebration Joy Time.
Wow. Yes, indeed. See, that guy knows how to do it.
Yeah.
That's beautiful right there.
Learn from the best.
Good job, Josh. Hey, we are glad that you guys are joining us tonight here for the Gralien Grimerica Fandango. Might as well be a Grandango. Join us by 828-398-4886. We saw a couple of calls in the last segment. We missed you. If you tried to call in earlier, we haven't forgotten about you. We will get back to you if you call again.
Yeah,
that number, once again. Yeah, exactly. Or else we'll call you. 1-828-398-4886 or Skype ID Gralien Report is how you reach us. Happy holidays. We hope to hear from you again. Keep trying if you haven't reached us just yet. We've got another mystery guest that we're going to get in here a little bit later. Hey, guys, you recognize that song? That tune right there, don't be surprised, was written by my dear old dad.
Yep.
Yeah, that is the Satyrs, circa 1964, I believe. Recorded at Mark IV Studios in Greenville, South Carolina, where I was earlier today. Always a great tune for comeback music on a program like this. So, that said, where were we in the last segment? I guess we were talking about whether or not to kill Bigfoot.
Yeah, that can go on a long time. We can switch gears.
I think we should certainly switch gears. Let's look at some of our top stories of 2015. We'll go ahead and we'll start with you, Red Pill Junkie.
Okay.
Top story of 2015, if you had to pick one, and I realize how difficult it is to do that, but one that really stands out for you for 2015 is we're wrapping up the year.
One I have here on top of my head, because it was so weird and was so bizarre. It was a story about this hybrid super spy that was found dead in a van, and then it was later found that he had an arsenal worth $5 million and such. You know, it was such a weird story, you know, which it probably hasn't unfolded in its entirety yet, but it was so weird to read about such a thing in major media news outlets like, you know, the New York Times, Washington Post, and the like.
I thought there for a second he was going to say he was living in a van down by the river.
That's what I would thought too.
I mean, to me, the most salient thing about that story is the fact that anyone can own an arsenal, you know, big enough to take down a small country in South America, and nobody in the United States government bites an eyelash and says, wait a minute, what's going on here?
It was a really weird story. I mean, Grimes, what do you think? You remember the story, right?
Not really.
Hey, Graham, you remember the story?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
What do you think?
I don't know. I think it's full of questions still, and I think it's good that stuff's coming up. It's not just a cut and dried.
You think it's foolish, don't you? You think it's foolish?
No, I don't. I think there's something to it. There's something weird going on.
It did seem strange.
Yeah.
I mean, admittedly, it did seem strange. Josh, what do you think? But
yeah, as I recall, there were a lot of different moving parts, and it was one of those things where any one taken on its own wouldn't really seem to be that odd. But when in aggregate, when they were all taken together, it was just like, this is a really weird thing where people close to him believed that he really was an alien super spy, and he had access to certain vehicles and certain information and obviously certain weapons that he shouldn't have to just be a civilian. And all together, it just seemed to be a really compelling case. And I think, not to go super conspiratorial, but I think it's very telling that we haven't heard much of a follow-up on that.
Let me point out, we still
remember this now.
Yeah, oh, he's so there it is.
Fill us in.
But listen, I think Jestin is still with us as well. Jestin, are you still there, bud?
I am indeed.
He is. Justin, your thoughts about this one?
You know, it was really the large amount of guns and other weapons, along with his girlfriend or fiance. Her story along with it just really made this story interesting.
Yeah. You know what else is interesting, by the way? I've got to say, Justin, your avatar there with the Sasquatch riding Nessie's back.
And, you know, that's what Darren said when we first got together, too.
I love it. It's so great. It really kind of
used it for an episode art at one time.
Yeah. That's an interesting. We were going to, but we never got around to. I think I did use it for a blog, though.
Yes, and I may have even seen that blog, by the way.
What page of the Kama Sutra is that on? Sasquatch riding Nessie's back?
Page that shit memorized.
Yeah.
You know, I don't mean to change the subject, but I do want to ask, Jestin, with regard to Nessie, as we see in the photo, Nick Redfern's got a new book coming out that deals with Nessie and the paranormal aspects, which he attributes to Nessie. Now, we've talked about whether or not a Bigfoot should be shot, but I would say, not to keep things overtly cryptozoological, but if a Nessie exists, should we presume from the outset that we are dealing with a paraphysical entity, i.e. maybe the ghost of a dinosaur? Does that do us justice, or should we actually first and foremost deal with this? Like maybe many would say the same of Bigfoot, are we dealing with a biological organism which we have to go after as a biological organism? If we can't prove that, we can prove nothing because we can't prove that ghosts exist. So what the hell is Nessie, and how should we go about our study?
Well, I wouldn't think that it would be a ghost of a dinosaur, because you don't hear stories about ghosts of mastodons or cavemen or other dinosaurs. So why would Nessie be so special?
Unless Bigfoot is the ghost of a caveman, huh?
What is the ghost of a caveman?
Unless Sasquatch is the ghost of a caveman.
Well, Josh, we
blew it open. There it is.
No. We could actually ask, though, what in the anthropological record shows what we know of Australopithecines, Paranthropus, Meganthropus. Now, there are periods through which Paranthropus and Meganthropus actually went through gigantism, especially in South Africa, where there were certain specimens that were found that seemed to exceed 7 feet in height. But for the large part, Neanderthal, Cro-Magnon, Australopithecus, the majority of our ancient ancestors did not seem to match the height requisites that are presented by the Bigfoot or Sasquatch as it exists in our cultural mindset. So I would say that there's quite a bit of a difference between the two, including our attitudes and our belief about how much hair these creatures would have been covered in.
Yeah, fair enough, and I didn't mean that as a derailment. I meant as an interjection. So please continue. Sorry about that.
Yeah, Justin, go ahead.
There's a show that I listen to. I'm not sure if it's still going. It's Ecto Radio, and the people who run it are the Southwest Ghost Hunters, and who are by far the most scientific, skeptical, approaching, and they're ghost hunters. But their approach to it is by far the best. They have a theory on why we don't see the disembodied spirits of dinosaurs or Cro-Magnon or Neanderthals. They think that it's it goes into like the dying process itself is a process, and there's a hiccup in the process that causes an apparition or a spirit, and that energy usually, they have an estimate, kind of expires at around 500 years. And so if Nessie is a hangover from the Pliocene era, then her expiration date would be by far gone. Now, is Nessie an interdimensional being? That goes a little bit further on the fringe, just like if Sasquatch was an interdimensional being.
That kind
of
opinions.
What
half-lives?
Speaking of
That's
which,
the theory, the energy that creates them has a half-life.
Huh.
Speaking of which, do you guys know that Boleskine House, the house that is located beside Loch Ness and was owned by both Aleister Crowley and Jimmy Page, which is famously known to be the place in which Aleister Crowley allegedly conjured up, according to some, the spirits that later became known as the Loch Ness Monster, was recently destroyed in a fire.
I heard about that. Yeah, Boleskine House actually caught on fire.
Mm-hmm.
And David Weatherly actually posted that on mine and Nick Redfern's Facebook, talking about that. And a lot of people said, yes, of course, the, what would you call it, the Mecca of Thelema.
Mm-hmm.
The Crowleyite religion of sorts has burned to the ground. First of all, question, I'm not sure that the entire house burned. It did seem that the fire was pretty damaging Yes, Jimmy Page owned the residence after Crowley, a number of decades after Crowley, in fact. But what's interesting is that, and I guess this is where you were going with this, as we're talking about Nessie, sort of, Boleskine House actually existed on the shores of Loch Ness.
Yep.
Yeah. And yes, there was that fire that broke out there. So a lot of people said it was really sad. A lot of people said to hell with Crowley. He was a rat bastard. If he was really a rat bastard, I think that at times I don't necessarily consider myself by any means a follower of Crowley, but I would say that at times Crowley has probably been misunderstood by the same token. Keeping in mind that Crowley in his own lifetime said he didn't really believe that there was probably a devil that existed, but he admired Jesus Christ because he believed that Jesus was probably one of the many ascended masters, borrowing probably from the philosophical, ideological attitudes of those like Helena Blavatsky and those who came before him. So, but, again, I'm not saying I follow Crowley or that I'm even really a fan of him. I'm just saying I wonder sometimes if what he has said hasn't been distorted over the years. Whether or not he knew, I don't know. It's hard to say. Can anybody here confirm that he was cognizant of the idea of there being a Loch Ness monster, and could that have in any way influenced his decision in making Boleskine House this so-called Mecca of Thelema in his own Crowleyite religion?
That's a question for Nick Redfern.
Yeah.
I'm still hung up on the idea of ghost half-lives.
Well, where the hell's Nick Redfern? Call him.
Nick Redfern? Rick Nedfern?
Rick?
Well, I was hoping the expanded perspective guys were going to bring him.
Yeah, I'm hoping that the expanded perspective guys might still be able to call in. I haven't heard anything from them. Oh, but there my phone just buzzed. I wonder if that's...
Was there Loch Ness sightings before Crowley's time, or do you think that was
that's the idea that...
a Tulpa-type manifestation from Crowley?
Well, that's the legend or the myth of the Kelpie of Waterhorse, and also the alleged legend of Saint Columba, how he managed to cast away the Loch monster when he was about to attack and devour a member of his expedition or something like that.
That's correct. Yeah. Saint Columba around 565 A.D. Claimed that one of his men was swimming across. It wasn't actually even Loch Ness. It was I think it was the River Ness, or perhaps Ness. And the man had been swimming across the loch, and the creature tried to attack him, and that St. Columbus invoked the sign of the cross and basically said, "Don't touch that man, back ye beast," and the thing left him alone. So that's maybe the earliest legend. And then we've got a few others that actually date back to around the 1870s. One around 1870 or 1871, I think. There was a Dr. Mackenzie who described seeing a creature or something. He may not have necessarily described it as being an animal, but he said that something that looked kind of like a log or an upturned boat was moving down in Loch Ness. He said that the object moved very slowly, then disappeared after it moved at a faster speed. Rupert Gould would talk about this in his writing about this. There was Tim Dinsdale that filmed something back, I think, in the 1960s in the television program In Search Of, showed this. Some people said it was an upturned boat. Some people said it was nothing at all. It definitely seems to have shown an object moving through the loch. We had Mr. and Mrs. George Spicer in 1933. We had William Fraser in 1938. There were a number of other things that occurred. The first, and when it comes to photographs, the first famous photograph that really didn't show anything was Hugh Gray, which I remember seeing in a book by Ian Thorne from the 1970s, which dated back to, I think, 1930, sometime, I think, in the 1930s. I know it was prior to World War II. The famous Sturgeon photograph from 1934, likely a hoax. Then there were a number of other films that were made over the years, but people have really said that there's very little in the way of good hard evidence. Although it seems that, especially throughout the 1920s and 30s and 40s, belief in there being some, actually I would say really beginning in the 1930s, belief in there being a monster and the stories told about it really rose to prominence. Today we don't see very much, although there have been many who have supposed that there could still be something that could have contributed to the alleged sightings of a Loch Ness monster, something maybe akin to a large sturgeon, maybe otters, maybe different other kinds of things that people may have misinterpreted as being a creature. But one of the most interesting reports that I have come across involved, what was it? He was the British naturalist. I should actually try and look this up. I don't have my browser window open. But I asked Nick Redfern about this the other night. The British naturalist with the British Natural Museum. What was he with? I'll have to look it up. I don't want to misspeak here. But again, he had claimed that what he had observed was something along the lines of an elasmosaurus, and he said it was the most significant find in the British Isles in terms of zoology. He was subsequently sacked and relieved of his position. But he claimed that he said there was something absolutely prehistoric living in Loch Ness, and that during a visit to the lake that he had seen this thing, this long-necked, whatever this creature was, and believed that an elasmosaurus or something like it lived there in the loch, which is a pretty incredible story, really, if you think about it.
Yeah, it's interesting to me because, like, from a historical perspective, it's difficult to separate Loch Ness from just geographical fae folk interpretations of, you know, the water horse or the certain entities that would actually appear as horses on land and drag people into the water. So it's not so much to me, was there something in Loch Ness, as much as it is, was there lore that held that in bodies of water like Loch Ness, there were entities like Nessie. But to also sort of add to the line of thought that you've had about the dearth of sightings in recent years, I believe that I have seen some recent headlines that claim that more sightings of the Loch Ness Monster have happened in 2015 than any time in the last decade, which I kind of have a little bit of a hard time with. I think maybe it's just more that there's awareness of such things and people are more eager to hop on the bandwagon of seeing such things. But for me personally, I'm very much my Nessie verdict is very much out these days.
By the way, the doctor I was talking about.
I'll eat it. God.
With a harpoon gun. Really quickly, by the way, guys, the doctor I was talking about, he had been with the British Natural History Museum, Dr. Dennis Tucker. And what he claimed that he saw was, again, what resembled an elasmosaurus, a subspecies of long-necked dinosaurs that roamed the earth 80 million years ago. He was extremely excited by what he saw in Loch Ness and believed that whatever the creature was represented something prehistoric. He was later sacked by the Natural History Museum, and there was a great big long debacle following all of that. But there was an FOIA release of documents earlier this year that apparently revealed in these new papers that Dr. Tucker was asked whether his new interest in Nessie had been, quote-unquote, a suitable topic for a lead researcher to be involved with, which is interesting because supposedly what that seems to indicate to us is that he underwent the same kind of not only scrutiny, but also, I think, probably derision and attack that many UFO researchers and other Bigfoot, whatever else, researchers of different kinds of esoterica have undergone. Just by their involvement and their interest in this subject, they are absolutely castigated by their friends and fellow scientific researchers in the cryptozoological community, which is pretty sad because, again, I think about, like, for instance, P.Z. Myers, who Graham, you met him.
Yep.
Yes. And Red Pill Junkie, I think the three of us are the only ones here present that have met P.Z. Myers.
I missed it. I was having babies, which is not as much fun as making babies.
You missed him, but you still took the shot. Anyway, that's an inside joke. But the thing is that we met P.Z. Myers. He was one of the very ones, evolutionary biologist that he is, that absolutely went after Brian Sykes for even so much as engaging in a DNA study that sought to try and prove the existence of Bigfoot. The guy was nuts just for trying to even do that, according to P.Z. Myers. Keeping in mind, this is a guy who left the skeptic movement, okay, because he said that the skeptic movement was contributing too much negativism and too much negative attitude, which wasn't actually moving science forward. It was just picking on other people. Kind of funny.
Yeah, it's strange.
I was going to say,
it's almost like some sort of weird paranormal McCarthyism. You can't even express an interest in these things without being labeled as a kook. You know, I mean, I'm interested in a great number of things that I would certainly not ever really necessarily say that I believe in. I still find them interesting. I still find some aspects of them compelling, but just by virtue of the fact that I've expressed an interest in them, people come to you and they say, "Oh, you believe in this, huh? You're interested in that? Oh, you think that aliens are real?" You know, it's just like, no, just can we actually have an adult conversation about this, please?
Yeah, just from accepting the phenomena. For accepting that something exists, like the phenomena exists.
Yeah, entertaining the possibility of the phenomenon alone.
I think you guys are all absolutely insane.
I already knew that.
I was really being nice.
Right place.
I was
Heresy.
I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
Hobbs.
News from the back. To me it really is just it's akin to what I have talked with. I had the privilege, which was actually a very pleasant experience, to speak at the December meeting of MUFON of Georgia. And one of the things that came up was how we live in a culture that is very much against casting any blame on victims unless they claim to have been alien abductees.
Interesting.
And then you can say whatever you want to about them. You can blame them for any number of things that they've done. Whereas any other sort of traumatic experience in our culture, that is a completely off-limits topic. And I find that ironic and infuriating at the same time.
Yeah, I agree.
What? Well, I don't know. I guess it would depend on what you were comparing it to. Because, I mean, I don't know. To me, alien abduction is probably still some sort of problem. Not a problem so much as DMT release or something more internal than external.
Yeah, but to me, so say that it is, and I in my personal research and whatnot, I definitely tend to lean more towards that outlook. But say that it is, and somebody just has a high-functioning release of endogenous DMT. That's still a physiological problem that they likely were born with. And yet we still make fun of these people. Yeah. We wouldn't make fun of these people if it was any other sort of disability, but we do because they say they've seen aliens. We don't even treat them with any sort of respect. We automatically assume that they're just put in the crazy bin. And almost not the crazy bin in terms of like somebody actually has a disability, but almost like we almost treat them like they have some sort of wish fulfillment, voluntary crazy syndrome going on. And granted, that happens. I'm sure that happens. It's got to happen.
Me, even the way we treat or deal with quote-unquote crazy people, it's very indicative of a huge dysfunction in our own society. How, the very idea of someone claiming to be in contact with agencies or entities that are outside, the realm or the detection of our five senses, that's something that we go against, we detecting and think of them as rabid dogs that need to be either put down, that was the case not so long ago, or, being corralled and be locked away so they don't, quote unquote, infect their disease onto other people.
I almost feel like it's the materialists have such a hold on our paradigm still that there's so much of a focus on evidence that we can't just acknowledge and accept the phenomena. That's what's been driving me nuts lately, is there's so much of this, we need evidence here, we need evidence there. Like at some point, the overload of anecdotal evidence has to say something. Like there's got to be, something. Well, it should, because it's just, who cares about whether it's this or that, or it's A or B? Why do we need to know that? Why can't we just accept that there's a mysterious phenomenon here?
We just can't scientifically.
Yeah.
And there's a reason for that.
Well, you know, yeah, and Darren's right.
Just
but,
start accepting that shit, then
you don't have to accept it. You don't have to agree with it.
Once you poke that fucking hole in the dam, then what's next?
That's exactly why it has to happen. Then maybe we will find the answers. As a culture, as a society, can't we just accept that there's a mystery that could be solved?
I think we do.
We don't.
We just don't.
We don't, because the materialistic paradigm we're living in, it's like schizophrenia. People are having experiences all over the place, yet we can't even talk about them because of this paradigm that we're in. That's because of the dogmatic scientists that are actually like just pushing for evidence that may never be found or accepted.
It's not the scientists; it's the funding.
I mean, that's the irony that you just pointed out. We kind of acknowledge that there is a mystery, there is something outside the realm of what science can either prove or disprove, but we choose not to talk about it. Now, what does that sound like? That to me sounds like, denial and a very quote unquote crazy way of thinking,
or religion.
I came across something today that, and I was coincidental in a way because I sort of wanted to talk about this a little bit, but Darren's wife and my girlfriend both have headaches. They get migraines quite a bit. They've tried all kinds of different things from,
including divorce,
including, including, prescription pills.
Oh, God.
And anyways, she had heard about from a friend of hers that there's people that have these piercings. They're called Daith piercings in the inner part of your ear. That there's some people that are actually getting migraine relief after getting piercings.
Something came out the other day that said migraines are solved.
And it was a doctor who's a pain doctor out of Minnesota wrote this blog about it, and he didn't claim to know anything. He specifically said it wasn't studied, but these people are having, people that have 20, 30 migraines a month have these piercings, and they're claiming that their migraines are going away. And it went viral, and he got so much backlash from people, bitching about, there's no evidence, there's no concrete evidence, this and that. They're just totally discounting people that have had, chronic pain issues. Just because there's no, there hasn't been any scientific studies on it yet. It's so disappointing to me.
It kind of reminds me of something that I listened to one of the past Mysterious Universe episodes about when the boys were discussing the alleged benefits of LSD microdosing. How some people who work in, in the Bay Area, in the IT industry, they are resorting to microdose of LSD, and these would be doses so low that they wouldn't elicit a psychedelic response or effect in the brain. But nevertheless, it seems to significantly improve into their creativity, into their problem-solving functioning in their minds. So they are praising the benefits of it. But of course, this is still scientifically unproved. Why? Because, among other things, because LSD is still an illegal substance, and therefore scientists cannot easily go and make the proper testing of these alleged effects.
This is one hell of a damn discussion that we're having here. It's getting deeper and deeper. Guys, we should go to a break here. We're at the bottom of the 7 o'clock hour. When we come back from this break, maybe we will discuss with our panelists here. Jestin, by the way, I know you're still there. Aren't you still there?
Can we keep him, Micah?
It's like I'm listening to it.
It's just like he's listening to a podcast, but he's still here with us. We do have one more mystery guest. I hope we're going to be getting in here shortly. And when we come back, we're looking for him. When we get one, I will tell you, okay?
Okay.
As I'm going to tell you, when we come back after this break, I've got something special that involves Darren Grimes that we're going to be... yes. We're going to be enjoying when we pick up here on the other side of this break here on the Grimerica Gralien Holiday Fandango 2015. Stay with us. We'll be back right after this.
not seem of any particular interest. But for us, it's different. Consider again that but. That's here. That's home. That's us. On it, everyone you love, everyone you know, everyone you ever heard of, every human being who ever was, lived out their lives. The aggregate or joy and suffering. Thousands of confident religions, ideologies, and economic doctrines. Every hunter and forager, every hero and coward, every creator and destroyer of civilization. Every king and peasant, every young couple in love, every mother and father, hopeful child, inventor and explorer, every teacher of morals, every corrupt politician, every superstar, every supreme leader, every saint and sinner in the history of our species lived there, on the mote of dust, suspended in a sunbeam.
One, two, three. Recall the boy story about you drunk running outside. Down Georgia Lake, skinny dipping in the moonshine. Neck deep water, just you and me. Holding you tight, skin so soft, soft, sugar honey. How did I know that it was just a disguise? I thought you'd always be mine, but I never saw that look in your eyes. Say love is blind, but I never saw that look in your sex all the time. Sex all the time.
We're not playing.
We're winding down 2015. It is a new year looking ahead, and I'm here representing the Graliens, the Grimericans, the Red Pill Junkies, and the Joshua Cutchins out there, as well as Jestin, ForteanMindset all around the globe, and, of course, all the fine folks who are out there listening tonight as we are bringing down the new year in pure, fabulous Fortean style. I am Micah Hanks, along with Grimerica, along with all of the aforementioned, and we are winding down 2015, looking forward to the new year indeed. And I've got to say, I've got something really special lined up in this next segment. I'm still waiting to hear from another one of our mystery guests. But before we go any further, and Darren, I know that you had a response from the good doctor that you wanted to include, but I wanted to first start off with something kind of along the lines of this, okay?
Yeah, okay.
Hey, Darren.
Uh-oh.
All the ladies in the audience are getting agitated by your voice. Would you just talk a little bit over the smooth, sexy jazz music, please? Go ahead. Freestyle.
Shibba-da-boo-ba-da-bee-ba-da-bee-ba, ba-da-ba-ba-bee, ba-la-la-lee-dee-boo-boo-ba-boo.
Is that light language activation? Are you channeling Metatron or Archangel Michael here?
I'm a scat man. No.
Oh, yeah.
That's not that native tongue. What do they call that? Speaking in tongues?
Light language activation is what.
Ooh. Hit that kitty, G. Come on now. Come on, everybody, sing along. Here we go. You know the words. Here we go. There ain't no sunshine when she's gone, 'cause it's close to long. Every time she miles away. Okay, Darren. Freestyle. I know.
Speechless.
Yeah, we can do that all the time. Never mind.
I'm just waiting for the email when somebody's listening to this and their husband or wife walks in. They're like, "What the heck?"
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Why are you watching Cinemax?
That was Jestin. Jestin's like, "No, honey, it wasn't me. I didn't do it."
You know what? I can say that I perform with Micah Hanks now. I'm okay.
Yes, you have. There you go.
A duet.
They just told me that they were collecting genetic specimens. That's all, honey.
Yeah, that too. Yeah, that. What he
told me they needed a body.
Oh, God.
On our with, not on.
What?
Nothing. Some people got it.
I guess so. Yeah. So Darren, you had this response from the good doctor that you were going to share. Let's go ahead and get that.
Well, no, actually, it's Graham that had the response. And
I'm sorry, Graham.
It's just this pain doctor who's responding to all these negative responses to his blog post about this Daith piercing, and I read it and I brought a tear to my eye because of how well written it was. So I figured it's kind of appropriate to needing evidence and all this other stuff we talk about. So he goes on to say how disappointed he is on how some people are so quick to chastise this option, right? So he says he wants to clarify some things. First, anyone who read the above post can clearly see that we're not saying this is a well-studied, documented, and thoroughly researched alternative. Hopefully we can find more hard evidence, and scientists are learning every day about the underlying reasons why regionalized stimulation may help with headaches. And then he says he wrote a recent post to shed light on the vagus nerve and the role it plays in the equation, and how the medical community is continuing to research this. Secondly, unless you've walked a mile in the shoes of someone who suffers from chronic pain or headaches, please don't be quick to chastise potential solutions. Like many of this site's readers, I deal with chronic pain in my back, and at times I feel myself at my wit's end trying to manage and control pain. People who are considering a Daith piercing for their headaches aren't simply considering it as their first option. Odds are they've seen specialists, tried therapies and medications avoiding certain trigger activities, altered their diets and their sleep schedules, or undertaken a myriad of other treatments that haven't solved their problems. He says, trigger
activities.
It appears, to work for some. What does he say here? He says, having someone belittle potential treatment techniques, which appears to have worked for some commenters, adds nothing positive to the goal of solving the pain problem. Hope and belief that pain can be resolved is a key aspect of finding pain relief. And while people are certainly entitled to be wary of options lacking concrete medical evidence, I ask only that you consider the person in pain's perspective before you belittle or demean their curiosity to this relatively new treatment avenue. I'm not trying to quell dissent, and I thoroughly enjoy reasoned arguments on both sides of the spectrum, and I completely understand why it's important to be hesitant of unfounded medical treatments. But if we ignored all potential solutions in the early stages simply because they had yet to be fully researched, the medical world would never evolve. Thanks for reading. Anyway, so I think that was very well said to people that are just pushing for evidence without even reading the post.
Well, it brings to mind a couple of other things too, and I'll just say this too, Graham, that with that statement he gives, he, I think, presents a delineation between what science can affirm or prove and what experiencers may benefit from.
Exactly.
In which case, we have people who are saying, you know what, look, I am suffering from chronic pain. This treatment is useful. It is helpful.
Exactly.
Should we attack the apparent pseudoscience? Are there times, this is interesting, this would bring to question, I think, something that I think is absolutely debatable. No, not everybody may agree, but I think it's absolutely debatable. If that is science, pseudoscience, then are there times where pseudoscience is beneficial, not only to practitioners, but those who are seeking to be remedied from various ailments? Think about
it. Yes, and it doesn't matter if it's placebo or not, or why it's working. That's beyond the point. That's the whole thing I'm trying to say here about evidence and needing all this evidence. Does it really matter in some cases like this? Nobody's trying to make $1 million off this. It's just somebody's just coming up with some open-minded solutions or talking about it.
I mean, yeah, playing devil's advocate for a minute here. It is a difficult. It is a difficult debate because on the one hand, I can more or less understand why some people, some even honest people, would go against and belittle and criticize this kind of research or this kind of treatment or therapy, because we are entering into the snake oil arena. The fact that we have to be full aware that there are a lot of con men and charlatans who are selling all kind of miracle cures to sick people, and the same thing that this good doctor mentioned in his letter, how when you are sick and you become desperate, you are ready to try just about anything. Getting a bit personal here, I remember when my mom, who has been suffering from arthritis for many years, got to a point in which the pain became so unbearable that she was starting to willing to try out this urinotherapy, basically drinking your own urine to try to calm down the pain. You know, it was that bad. So what I'm trying to say is that, yeah, it's a very tricky issue, and close-mindedness, you know, and rejecting things de facto without even trying to ascertain what these new treatments might bring to the table. We all agree that it's wrong, but obviously we have to also be aware of why this current culture has been established. You know, why they have been put or established, because there have been a lot of con men, a lot of charlatans who try to make use or exploit sick people.
All I have to say is, but go ahead. Anybody?
Hobbs.
He says Hobbs. Yeah, okay, so the cat's out of the bag. Actually, I should just say Hobbs is missing. Hobbs is supposed to join us here at some point tonight. I'm not hearing much from Hobbs. Hobbs is MIA, but we're looking for Hobbs. Hobbs
down.
Hobbs.
That said, coming back to the conversation here.
To me it's sort of the looming specter of collectivism. I mean, it's sort of tied into what we were talking about earlier about not trusting the individual experiences that people have had. I mean, if something worked for someone, then who gives a damn if it's scientifically backed up or not? I mean, I think that if recent research has shown anything, it's how much of a role our minds play in things, in which point literally any therapy has the potential to be effective. And if it works, then, you know, different strokes for different folks. Walk a mile in your moccasins and go for it, you know?
Yeah,
absolutely. Absolutely. We had a caller here a moment ago. I think we may have lost them. If you were listening and we lost you, call back in, area code 857. We'll be looking out for you there. As we continue to search for Hobbs. May the force be with him, by the way, wherever he may be. I don't think that was Hobbs that tried to call it in.
Have you all watched the movie?
No.
Yeah, we have.
No.
We're in the no spoiler zone. By the way,
let's not go there.
I want to make.
How about Interstellar, Micah? Have you watched Interstellar yet?
Hold on. RPJ and I are we're having a reckoning right now. No, RPJ, I have not seen.
Do I have to wait for another year until you catch up?
Yeah, I'm so bad.
I tell you what, Micah, you come to Paramania and we will sit you down in a hotel room.
I will bring my Blu-ray copy to Dallas, Texas.
Yes.
I'll fucking steal that
Okay, guys. Let's go to the phone lines. We've got area code 857 joining us here.
We might go to Paramania.
Let's talk about that once we've gotten to this caller. 857, you're with us here on the Grimerica Gralien Holiday Fandango. What's on your mind? Hello.
Much.
Caller, you're with us. Have we got you? Hello there, sir. What's going on? What's on your mind?
What's up?
What is up?
Been a fan of the Grimerica thing.
Yeah, me too.
I was saying, I commented on the speaker thing. What do you call it?
Spreaker?
What do we call that?
Spreaker.
He commented on that.
What are the weirdest? Fuck! I'm talking like Graham. What are the weirdest?
Stop that!
What are the weirdest myths that you have seen, heard? I guess.
Weirder myths.
Is that the question?
Caller, are you with us?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay, was it the Spreaker question about myths?
That was my question. You just said it.
Yeah, that was his question.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, and real quick, caller, hang on the line. Darren, we are not aware of what the hell you're talking about there on Spreaker. Why don't you tell us what the hell the myth question was? Our caller is waiting, and do hang on the line there, caller, because we're going to come back to you. Darren, tell us what the hell you're putting up on Spreaker.
Well, first of all, Adam Wilson says Interstellar is so at best. Sorry, RPJ.
Okay.
This question is, what are the weirdest myths that you have ever heard?
Okay, the weirdest myths. So our caller is calling in reference to that. Sorry, caller. Grimes had to clarify.
Gaidex.
Oh, okay. Excellent. Okay, so go ahead. Caller, we'll go ahead and go to you. What is the weirdest myth?
Will those be modern myths, ancient myths,
urban myths,
popular myths? A good question, actually.
Don't mind those guys.
Which guys?
No, it's a good question. You know, nowadays, you know.
Hold on, RPJ. Let's let him get in here. Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead, sir. Caller. Caller, that's you. Going once.
Wait, I think I heard something actually.
You get a police outside your house or something?
I'm not really entirely sure. That's a good question, but thank you so much, sir. Again, we appreciate all the calls and everything. 2015, in retrospect. 2016, looking ahead. Good times. You know, guys, at times like this, I kind of think...
Oh, yeah.
Strangers in the night.
It's times like this I like to bring Jestin Sellas back into the conversation. Because there ain't no sunshine until he's gone. Well,
that's pretty rude.
That was an interesting call.
Yeah. I wish we could answer the question.
I wish we could
the
have.
flood myth.
The flood myth, yeah.
All my myths
Is that the weirdest?
Probably, because it's probably true.
every weird myth that I thought of was definitely not suitable for anyone's consumption. So I just laid out.
Consumption.
Well, my favorite is the myth of the Grail.
The Holy Grail in Ethiopia?
The Gralien myth, yeah.
That's the Ark.
Seems racist.
But see, I was hearing the weirdest myth, which to me meant like completely off the wall. Like
to me, one of the weirdest is the whole David Icke reptilian, bloodline. The shape-shifting reptilians who drink blood of children and who are, in ruling the whole world.
That is pretty.
Yeah, that's a good answer.
Got kicked out of a conspiracy group for not getting on board with that.
Oh, good for you, Graham.
Red Pill. Something we could talk about here. The weird connection between Colonia Dignidad. The Friendship Island affair, and the Latin American Nazi continuum. That is something we could discuss. That is, I think, that absolutely qualifies for being mythology, but it is absolutely weird. So I'll tell you what, guys, let's go to a break.
The island with all the dead dolls?
No, it's even weirder than that. I promise, it's even weirder. No. It's even weirder than that. When we come back, we'll discuss that here. Yeah, it does have to do with Nazis, but they're not undead. Well, they might be. Kind of depends on your perspective. It is the Grimerica Gralien 2015 Holiday Fandango. We'll be back right after this.
It was 8:46 in the morning.
And then we heard a plane come over, and in Manhattan, you don't hear planes too often, especially loud ones.
After all, he claimed he invented the internet. But if he's so smart, how come every internet address begins with W? Tell Tony Blair we're going alone. 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 Tell Tony. And I saw an airplane hit the tower. TV was obviously on, and I used to fly myself, and I said, well, there's one terrible pilot. And I saw an airplane hit the tower. TV was obviously on, and I used to fly myself, and I said, well, there's one terrible pilot. Terrible pilot, 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 terrible pilot. Terrible pilot, terrible pilot, terrible pilot, terrible pilot, terrible pilot. Our enemies are innovative and resourceful, and so are we. They never stop thinking about new ways to harm our country and our people, and neither do we. Tell Tony Blair we're going alone. Terrible pilot, terrible pilot, terrible pilot, terrible pilot, terrible pilot, terrible pilot. Khalid Sheikh Mohammed Abu Zubaydah Ramzi, whatever the guy's name was. Khalid Sheikh Mohammed Abu Zubaydah Ramzi, whatever the guy's name was. Khalid Sheikh Mohammed Abu Zubaydah Ramzi, whatever the guy's name was. Khalid Sheikh Mohammed Abu Zubaydah Ramzi. Terrible pilot, terrible pilot, terrible pilot, terrible pilot, terrible pilot. And so, in my State of the Union, or my speech to the nation, whatever you want to call it, speech to the nation, I asked Americans to give 4,000 hours over the rest of your life of service to America. That's what I asked. I said 4,000 hours.
Because for a century and a half now, America and Japan have formed one of the great and enduring alliances. Because for a century and a half now, America and Japan have formed one of the great and enduring alliances.
It'll take time to restore chaos, but we will. It'll take time to restore chaos. But we will. Terrible pilot, terrible pilot, terrible pilot, terrible pilot, terrible pilot. You say we're headed to war in Iraq. I don't know why you say that. I hope we're not headed to war in Iraq. I'm the person who gets to decide, not you. You say we're headed to war in Iraq. I don't know why you say that. I hope we're not headed to war in Iraq. I'm the person who gets to decide, not you. We will not have an all-volunteer army. And yet this week, we will have an all-volunteer army. We will not have an all-volunteer army. And yet this week, we will have an all-volunteer army.
We're not going to go alone like this president did.
You tell Tony Blair we're going alone. Tell Tony Blair we're going alone. Tell Tony...
We're not going to go alone like this president did.
You tell Tony Blair we're going alone. Tell Tony Blair we're going alone. Tell Tony... I'm honored to shake the hand of a brave Iraqi citizen who had his hand cut off by Saddam Hussein. And I saw an airplane.
I can't wait to get some more music from...
For what?
RPJ says he's feeling brainwashed from both the ads and the Grimerica music.
At least we found a way to bypass the ads.
Yeah, from our buddy that was his name is here with Randall and all that. Brian, yeah. He's going to send us more of his music. Kinara. Darren, you bringing us back this time?
I don't know
Countdown
when
begins.
the
You
fucking
ready?
cue is.
I got it. Ready?
Okay.
Countdown begins. Confirm recognition.
Confirm.
All right, it's the final countdown. Okay. This is the final countdown? Maybe not. Okay, 3, 2, 1, go.
And we're back. We're back. Echo. Breaker. I think this is the thing.
Did something?
You're so professional, Grimes. Grimes, let me show you how you do it.
Okay.
Hey, man, let's go get some
what's the
chow.
number again? What's the number again?
There you go. All right, the number to reach us, 828-398-4886. Skype ID, Gralien Report. We would love to hear from you if you're out there listening.
I've been giving out the wrong number.
No, you haven't.
Yeah, it is our 2015 Fandango. We're winding down. We're having a little bit of fun. It's not super serious tonight. That's the whole point, and we're enjoying the hell out of it. Jestin is still out there, by the way, hanging with us.
He found the chat room.
He found the chat room.
Speaking of the chat room, I have a great question from the chat room.
Yeah, let's field some from the chat room there. By the way, the chat
our
room.
buddy Adam K.
Go ahead.
If you guys had to predict 2021, 5 years from 2016, thanks, Adam. What? We're not all Graham. What would you think the hot topics will be? In other words, a phrase I hate, the new normal. Do you guys understand the question?
Yeah, any takers there?
Finally, real hoverboards.
I think that
Didn't
summarizes.
fucking Mike Tyson just eat shit on a hoverboard?
Did he? It wouldn't have. I don't think it would have improved his physical appearance any to have done that.
Artificial intelligence.
You think that's happening in 5 years? I think we're closer to fusion.
No, I think we're going to still be wringing our hands about it and worrying that it's the next big thing. But yeah, I think that's probably going to be something that we're still talking about in 5 years.
I'll say this about AI. I think really for me, AI all comes down to this. Can I make love to AI? Because if I can,
you can. I'm telling you, Graham's gonna be. Have you seen that movie, Her? That's the fucking future. When people are fucking their phones.
All I know is there ain't no sunshine till AI is gone. But it ain't.
Ex Machina is a better movie than Her.
No, I think Her is better. I think we're closer to Her than we are to Ex Machina.
Oh yeah, obviously.
I thought we were closer to Grey Goose.
You see, I don't think we're close to anything, and I don't think that people are really acknowledging the importance that creativity plays in intelligence. I don't think that they're really acknowledging that. I just saw an article the other day that was making the rounds about how a lot of the Google cars are running into problems because they don't know when to break laws. In other words, if a Google car is trapped at a stoplight and there's a car coming up behind them to ram them, they won't like jump out of the way. Which is a really fascinating.
Sorry, I heard they were getting rear-ended all the time because they're stopping where other people wouldn't stop, and they're getting fucking rear-ended.
Yeah, and you know, I guess what it comes to me is that like it's either going to be all or nothing. It's either every car has got to be a Google car being controlled and synced up with other artificial intelligent cars, or else you're going to have other drivers, causing problems. Or I mean, like alternatively, I mean, let's say that I'm at a four-way stop and it's not my turn to go, but I'm on the side of a mountain and I notice this giant fall of rock coming towards me. You're damn right, I'm going to pull through the intersection.
100,000 years ago, an Anunnaki bioengineer by the name of Enki had the same problem, and then he decided to put a little clause that, it's okay to break the laws from once in a while, and then BAM! That's why we are here right now.
Just like that. BAM!
Just like that.
Bang, crash.
What was his name? Enki Agassi?
No, Enki, as in the Sumerian god, the whole Sekaria Sitchin thing, the Anunnaki.
Yeah. It was a bad joke.
I don't know.
Enoch's father, I think.
Agassi, Emerald. Bam.
Probably one of the things that we're going to be talking about 5 years from now is new forms of energy, because what happened this year, how the agreement that was signed by all these countries in Paris with regards to trying to switch our civilization from the fossil fuel teat into trying to find renewable forms of energy, which may or may not help reduce greenhouse gases that may or may not help to contribute to the warming of the planet. So this is something that is probably going to become even more centerfold in the years to come.
Okay.
Or maybe not.
No. I was listening, but nobody else seems to be wanting to respond.
Well, it's been suppressed. I think it's been suppressed for a long time. So I don't know.
Well, you're going into 0 point energy. I'm going into something a bit maybe less radical. No.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No.
I'll take the fucking low hanging fruit and go with the discovery of life someplace other than
Grimes. Have you been eating brine shrimp all night again?
I haven't been eating brine shrimp. I've been eating brownies.
Oh God! What kind of brownies, sir? This guy, I love Grimes. By the way, let me tell people
brownies.
I have so much respect for Grimes, and despite the persona he puts on the mic, this guy behind the scenes is always watching what technology is doing. He is always appraised of what is happening. This is something I love about this guy. He is a remarkable dude. He is a bright intellect, and when we are at events together, he's always saying, "Let's go get some chow," which is a fundamental thing that I think people should do. We should all get together, enjoy chow together.
Are we going to get some chow in Paramania?
Maybe at the Paramedic. We'll talk about that a little later. Right now, let's go to the phones right now. We've got James on the line right now who is joining us. James, along with his dog. James, where are you? Who's your dog? And what's on your mind?
That's an old dog of mine. His name's Eddie Spaghetti. How's it going, guys?
Hey, James. How's it going, buddy? You coming over tomorrow?
Buddy.
I'm good.
Yeah, I'm coming over tomorrow, buddy.
Perfect.
Hey,
James is an awesome rock singer from Calgary. I just wanted to say he's got a wicked band.
Graham's a groupie.
Hey, James, if you don't mind, James, go ahead and tell us about your band. What's your band called?
It's Wasted Nation. We play here in Calgary a little bit of rock and roll and stuff like that. We have a good time.
Excellent. Are you guys online?
Yeah, we've got mostly Facebook nowadays. We don't really push it too hard online. So
okay, if people wanted to find you on Facebook, where would they find you?
Wasted Nation Band, I think, is probably what the title is there. You had to search us. I think we're the only ones right now.
Excellent.
It's pretty easy to find us.
Very cool. Do check them out, folks. And what's on your mind tonight, sir?
Cool. Hey, I just want to see if you guys would be interested in playing a little game where you can answer just yes or no with me if you believe something. So I want to ask you guys 2 questions.
Okay, guys,
including
let's do some parameters here. Okay, we're going to go down the line. Okay, now listen carefully, guys. Josh, Darren, Graham, RPJ, me, Jestin. Jestin, I think, are you there?
Oh, I'm here.
Okay, he's there. Okay, in that order. Yeah. In that order, everybody remember.
Wait,
okay,
what was it?
Josh, Darren.
Graham, tell us again.
Josh, Darren, Graham, Red, Micah, Jestin.
Yeah. Okay, now if anybody speaks out of turn, Graham, you let us know. And we're going to turn it over to you, James. Ask the question. We will answer in turn.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
And just yes or no. That's it. Like, not a big explanation. So,
oh, man. Not what I do well.
I like it.
This will be hard for Red and Josh to one-word answer.
Fortunism isn't about binary answers, sir.
Yes or no?
Future's binary.
Do you believe alien life is visiting this planet from another planet in our observable universe? May it be UFOs that we see or whatever. Do you think that dudes from out there are actually coming here?
Okay, I have to ask a bit of clarification. This means this is the extraterrestrial hypothesis that extraterrestrials are.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Whether it's ETs, Greys, whatever.
Okay. And then there was another question, right?
One at a time.
Answer one at a time. So
I apologize. Graham, one more time. Would you tell us the order in which we are to appear?
Josh, Darren, Graham, RPJ, Micah, and Jestin.
Are we ready?
Okay. No.
Yeah, you are. Josh, go ahead.
No.
Yes.
Meh. Not fair, Miguel.
I'm sorry, but
from Spanish to English on me.
Yes,
James,
no, Mexico.
James, would you repeat the question one time for these guys? Just so that they understand.
Okay. Are there other life in our observable universe visiting this planet?
Okay, guys, we've got that there. Josh, we will start with you. Are there other observable life forms visiting this planet?
No.
No.
You don't think so?
Are we explaining our answers at the end, or is it okay? Then just no. Just that's my simple answer. No.
No.
Okay, mine's yes.
Okay, well, hold on, Graham. We'll come to you. Darren, what's yours?
No.
Okay, simple answers. Remember. Okay, we got no.
No.
Graham, you say yes.
Yes.
RPJ.
Yes, if that is my 2 options, then yes.
Okay, mine would have to be no as well, and Jestin, finally you.
It'll be a no.
Oh, it's a sweep.
Wow.
Not a sweep.
So look at that. So we've got a no. We've got no, yes. No,
I mean, first we will have to define what the universe is. I mean, the universe is the visible universe. Or sir.
Hold on. Not everyone at once. Let's start with Joshua Cutchin. Josh, please. You. Josh.
You hang up on Josh.
Did we lose Josh?
No. I actually had the. No, I had the mic muted. I had the mic muted because I had to burp and I didn't unmute the mic. So
okay,
I was just talking away here. So my one sentence answer, or my one sentence explanation is that there is something happening. It is objective, but it is far weirder than little spaceships, little green men spaceships.
And I agree with that. Then again, I mean, the extraterrestrial hypothesis is saying, they are visiting us from X planet in that X galaxy. It sounds so pedestrian for me right now, but if you expand the concept of the universe to encompass, I don't know, other dimensions, other levels of reality, then yeah, maybe. Anyway, maybe. So I'm not sure. So I mean, dismissing it out of hand felt unfair. So that's why I had to say yes.
Don't blame the question.
What else?
I blame it. I blame it because it's an unfair question.
Just
an unfair
Sorry,
world.
sir.
Jestin, I think we've got you also to add to this conversation. What are your thoughts there, Jestin?
So I took it as are extraterrestrials visiting us currently? Not have they ever visited us? Not will they visit us? But are they currently visiting us in this time and space? I don't think they are.
You don't think so, huh?
Yes, something's going on in our skies. Is it necessarily extraterrestrial? See, I want to change my answer now.
No, go ahead. No,
it's a no. The people have spoken.
Sometimes one has to change their answer in order to meet their. God, it's not a criteria. I don't think.
Sometimes you have to live with the consequences of your decision.
Yes, I think so.
I think that's what I said. But really, honestly, meh.
Exactly, meh.
Okay, interesting. So, James, I don't know if you feel satisfied with our responses. I think the majority.
Actually,
go ahead.
I'm surprised.
And turnabout is fair play. What do you think, James?
I'm sorry.
What was that?
I said turnabout is fair play. What do you think? One word answer.
I say yes.
Okay.
James is all in.
All right, so let me. I'm all in. All right. How about now? My second question. Same deal. What about ghosts? Are they real? Yes or no?
Should I just go?
Or the end of the music?
Yes.
Darren?
Yes.
Graham? Yes. Red?
Me? Yeah.
Mike? I would say ghosts aren't real. Ghosts.
I mean, yeah. What is real? I mean,
what is ghosts are real?
Well, yeah. What do you mean by ghosts?
Micah, your turn.
No, I said I think ghosts are real.
Okay.
I don't know if ghosts meet the same criteria that we have.
Right. Jestin?
That's not fucking yes or no, Mike.
Justin?
It was a yes for me. It was a yes.
Wow. Well, there you have it. 6-0.
We couldn't beat the Jeopardy song, though.
That is pretty interesting. Guys, by the way, with regard to ghosts, UFOs, whatever it is, I think we're all asking the same fundamental questions. Do we believe in things that push the paradigm, so to speak?
I hate the using the word belief.
I hate using the term paradigm. I hate using the term paranormal.
Yeah, I mean, because like John Keel said, belief is the enemy. The moment you say, I believe X, I believe Y, I believe Z, you will spend the rest of your life defending that belief and trying all you can to belittle or refute whatever it is that might go against said belief. So I think that is not a very healthy approach. It's not a very productive approach. I will say to people listening, embrace instead Robert Anton Wilson's maybe philosophy that alien beings from other planets are visiting our own world. Maybe ghosts are real. Maybe ghosts are figments of our imagination. Maybe we don't know. But the moment if you embrace that kind of like middle theory or
middle theory,
excluded middle, the excluded middle side of the argument instead of these binary yes and no, black and white. The moment you embrace the gray, your life will grow richer beyond your imagination.
Absolutely.
No, then you get answers like shoot Bigfoot with a tranquilizer.
Maybe so. By the way, I just want to ask, again, James and Jestin, thank you guys, by the way, both of you for calling in. James.
Hey, wait, James, you can be the deciding vote. Shoot Bigfoot, yes or no? It's 3-3.
James, it's on you, apparently.
To kill him?
Yes.
Or we can maybe just shoot him so he bleeds out.
The fact that he said him.
Grimes?
So.
No. Listen.
And I also want to know the opinion of a dog.
Unless we get Mark Collins, and they can vote too.
No.
Fuck.
Okay. Yeah. He says no. Hey, James, by the way, good on you for saying that. James and Jestin, both you guys, thank you. Jestin, for sticking with us far longer than we asked you to. Thank you so much for calling in. And James for calling in with good questions. Yeah, it's really good to talk to both you guys, and we do appreciate both of you. We've got a couple other callers we're going to try and get to here, and we appreciate all of you guys. If you have not called in yet, but you would like to, 828-398-4886, and also Gralien Report. We are right now fielding calls from those in the listening audience who would like to call in. I have my special guest who I'm hoping to try and get in here. Did I lose everybody?
Did you get him? No, I'm here.
No? I thought I was your special guest, Micah.
Well, yeah, you are. And actually,
he calls everyone his special guest.
We were expecting the sexy music to drop back in.
Yeah.
The what music?
The sexy music. It's a little bit of...
Oh, you mean...
Ain't no sunshine.
You must mean like this right here, okay? That music, yeah, exactly.
Here,
we
try this one on for size.
Go ahead, please.
Oh yeah, that's sexy.
That's much more in line with my romantic endeavors.
It's from when Kirk had to fight Spock.
That's the music that I put on whenever I try the position of Nessie, Sasquatch riding Nessie.
Sasquatch Nessie Karma Sutra.
Yeah. Basically.
Oh my god.
That's a lively discussions jingle.
There we go.
I've got something.
How does you get to the business music?
Get her done.
So I've been trying to. All bets are off. I've been trying to get Habbo all night. Okay, Habbo.
Hobbs.
And he hasn't called in yet, so I'm going to call him live on the. Oh, hold on! Just as soon as I do that, we've got another call coming in. Let's go ahead and take a call from our.
Yeah, take a call.
We've got a caller 865. You're live on the air with us tonight. Welcome to the Gralien Grimerica Holiday Fandango. What's on your mind?
Hey guys, I've been listening to the broadcast. Very enjoyable. I had a quick question for you. I was curious as to why mankind, had not returned to the moon since mid-1970s. Why have we not returned to the moon?
Why have we not returned to the moon? Good question.
Order.
I love that question.
Same order.
That's a great.
Joshua, would you please tackle this one for us?
So one-word answers. I say we have one-word answers that are not binary.
Okay, go ahead.
And my one-word answer is laziness.
Okay.
Laziness. We have laziness to blame for this.
Okay, Darren.
Money.
Graham. Fear.
Fear.
Red.
Lack of willpower.
I guess it would come around to me then. Probably lack of imagination. By the way, caller, what's your name?
My name is Jacob.
Jacob, thank you for calling in with that question.
Jacob,
Good.
shoot Bigfoot, yes or no?
No.
Good.
Yeah.
Jacob, we appreciate you. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. I think that our mystery guest, our latest mystery guest, is getting impatient with us. He has most recently written to me, "Oh, for blank's sake, Hobbs, where have you been all night, Hobbs?
Shooting Bigfoot."
Hobbs, Mr. Hobbs, we've only been trying to call you for 2 hours.
Well, Mike, I got to be honest with you. I was outside, walking my property, let the dogs out, and I saw a flashlight out behind me.
Did you now?
Field out back. Yeah, and so I had to go investigate. There were some shots fired. I had to hit the dirt. Authority found me holed up in a trench.
Oh, you see why I love you so much, Hobbs?
How you doing, brother? How you doing, fellas?
I'm doing great. Hobbs, do you mind taking a call? By the way, Hobbs, can you hang out? Let's take a call.
Who got shot? Did anyone get shot?
No,
did you shoot back?
He's mimicking.
Oh, hold on. We've got a lot of phone calls coming in. Now that we have the Hobbo with us here, we got to take another call. 818, you are live with us here on the Gralien Grimerica Holiday Fandango. What's on your mind tonight?
Hey, guys. What's up?
Hello. What's on your mind, sir?
Hey. Not much. Hey, guys. I sent an email into Red Pill and Graham earlier today.
Hey, Jack.
Oh, Jack.
Is this Jack C?
Yeah.
Ooh, a supporter.
Hey, Jack Cusumano.
Hey, Jack. Hey, Jack. By the way, Jack, I want you to know we have Hobbo here with us. Okay.
Oh, hey, Hobbs.
he knows the name. He knows the name. Good boy. Okay, Jack. What's on your mind?
So, I don't know what you guys have talked about so far. I was at my baby shower earlier.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah, thanks. So I figured I'd ask, this year, I guess the biggest, for better or worse, the biggest, Fortean or weird story was probably the Roswell slides. But does anyone have any random wild card bets on what the 2016 biggest headline would be?
It's a good question, but
UFO crashes in a Kansas City suburb. Next.
Hey, Race, let me toss this one to you, okay? Because you and I have talked a good bit about the Roswell slides. Let me toss this one to you. What do we have to look forward to in 2016 as far as UFO headlines go?
My damn cigar went out.
Light it. You better light it.
My prediction is just that. I think there's going to be one of these objects are going to be downed, and we're going to get to it first. That's my wish. I don't know if it's much prediction, but it's my wish.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I mean, it would be nice. It'd be nice to get our hands on something first for a change before it gets spirited away.
Yeah.
But hell, we've shot them. We've hit them with rocks. We've took pictures of them. We've filmed them. It's time to just, to get our hands on one and have our way with it.
Hey, speaking, Race, of having your way with something, I got something special for you here, buddy.
Oh, boy.
Oh, yeah. Having your way with a UFO.
Having it just where you want it.
You guys are fucked.
Rub my feet.
Oh, Lord.
I'm going to say the biggest story will be Bigfoot shot.
Yeah. Graham.
No, I'm going to say they're going to find something on Mars.
Graham, please pitch him.
I can't. He's too far away across the table.
Yeah, we can't get Grimes to come off of the kill Bigfoot thing here.
I'm trying to get the votes back up. It's 5-3.
I want to thank you, by the way, caller, for calling in, Jack. And Jack,
what did Jack vote?
What? Yes, that was your name, correct, Jack?
Yeah, Jack.
John.
See,
Jack.
I did know his name.
Jacko.
Well, we need to vote on the Sasquatch. Shoot or do not shoot Sasquatch, Jack.
Shoot, Jack.
Well, let's start with Race then. Race. If we're going to produce evidence for the existence of Bigfoot, do we shoot or do we not?
No, we don't shoot.
Yes.
Okay. Joshua Cutchin.
He already voted. No, he already counted Josh. He said yes.
Yeah. I said broad stroke. Yes.
Yeah, that's right. Actually, yeah, we have
He's a
already.
true man of science, Josh.
Somebody's got to do it.
And we have already voted on this, so we won't go back down the line. But I will say this: that the late Grover Krantz had said he thought, grisly though it was, that we had to kill one in order to prove that they do exist. Now, I don't know that I exist, or I'm sorry, I do know that
I'll have to kill you too.
I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure I exist. I don't know that we should kill one. But again, I guess that comes down to a matter of whether or not these things exist. So, thank you, Jack, for calling in. We appreciate your call.
Jack.
Yes, sir.
Wait, I just want to say that
he didn't vote.
Wait.
Oh, he didn't. Oh, we've already let him go, though.
Well,
I just want to say that Jack Cusumano is a great artist. You know, he is an animator working in Los Angeles with his wife, and he has a Tumblr page, which I will sure to give you guys the link for the show notes. He has been working on a show that he's trying to make all independently. It's called Roswell's, and it's an animation show that it will be like the dream come true for any kid who has a love for the Fortean world, because he has aliens, he has Bigfoot, and it has time portals or whatever. And it's the kind of thing that I as a 10-year-old in love with UFOs and cryptozoology would have loved to watch on the Saturday morning. So Jack, I think I hope he will have success with this project, and I'm sure we will hear more about his projects in the years to come.
Well, I hope we do. And speaking of hearing more about projects from here, in at least into the near infinite, as we look ahead into 2016, of course, we have a lot to look forward to. May not qualify as being infinite, but certainly the unforeseeable. It's late, folks. Let's just yes, exactly. a proper introduction to Mr. Race Hobbs, who joins us here on this late night 2015 wrap up. Race Hobbs, brother, how are you, sir?
I'm blessed, Micah. Blessed. Thank you guys for staying with me and calling me 30 times while I was out of pocket there for a minute.
What we
go get their half,
You've had a busy night. You have, you had to pick up your wife, but you've also been talking with our very own Jimmy Church of KGRA Radio. You have been producing other programs that air on this night. Least of them all, actually, the very opposite. Actually, most of them all. The MUFON radio program, which you are the host of, that was tonight as well. So you've had quite a busy night. So we give you we give you the get out of jail card in terms of your availability for tonight, and yet you still managed, late though it is. You still join us live for this holiday fandango that we're doing. So thank you so much, brother. Love you. I love you.
Hey, fandango. I don't even know who's on the line, but I love you guys. I know Pill and
Pill,
the Grimerica guy.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But I just want to say this. I respect you guys all so much, and I love what you guys do. And it's just great to be a part of this community. It's guys like you that you all that make it do, it makes it worth doing. It makes it all worth the the pain and the blood and the sweat and the tears, to be a part of a community that is so passionate about seeking the truth and making fun of that tour and getting laughs out of it, and taking folks to task sometimes. This is just we're in very unique times, and we kind of joke around about what we want in the 2016 and that sort of thing, but my biggest hope is just for all to have a healthy and a happy and a prosperous year. It's going to be an election year. It's going to be one hell of a crazy ride. The 2015 is I think, going to be subtle in comparison to 2015 will be subtle in comparison to 2016, I think.
Yeah, it seems to be the case. I would say this too, Race. You've had a busy night. And here we all are here. Those of us on this side of the conversation, of course, Red Pill Junkie, Joshua Cutchin, author and Fortean researcher, the Grimerica guys, myself, Cam and Kyle of Expanded Perspectives could not join us tonight. Unfortunately,
that's the suck of all of it.
Well,
and I still haven't talked to Butch.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well,
we'll get a hold of him before the midnight hour.
Well, I would actually really like to hear from Butch. But the thing is,
oh, you're talking about Butch?
No, I was actually talking about Butch.
Butch.
But. Yeah, that guy.
Good old Butch.
The button
Yes,
guy.
exactly.
It's actually my brother's nickname for me when I was a kid.
You know what my nickname was? Spud. Yeah.
Shorty.
No, when I was a kid, I was called Spud. Hey, Race, guess what? I was just telling the guys, I actually visited for the first time today the Georgia Guidestones.
Did you?
I did, yeah. Susan Davidson and I traveled down to the
Was
Georgia.
it raining?
No, it was gorgeous. It was beautiful. It was beautiful.
What did you think about him? What was it like? What was it like being at the old Guidestones there in Georgia?
I felt like Luke Skywalker having had his hand cut off by Vader at Sky City, yeah.
I heard some pretty big. It's our good friend Chase Kletsky went down there with some of her fellow investigators, and just to be there and look at it and research it and everything in person, they thought it was just amazing.
Well, I kind of got the impression she went with what? Did she not?
He may have been driving the car.
It very well may have been the case, yeah.
Carrying the luggage.
Exactly. Guys, I think we're coming up on a break here for the Gralien Grimerica Fandango, which we should also mention Expanded Perspectives, who couldn't join us tonight because of the ravages. Yeah. Well,
down there doing tornado relief, and my love is with those guys. I really appreciate those fellas too.
They're wonderful dudes, and I in equal measure, I appreciate those fellows very much. So we'll come back after this. We may be nearing wrapping things up here for this 2015 edition of the program. I am Micah Hanks, along with Grimerica, along with Race Hobbs, along with Joshua Cutchin, Red Pill Junkie. We are going to wrap this up probably here fairly shortly. We'll see how things go when we come back from this break. But first, as you know...
Oh, look, no one will ever find me lucky pot of gold right here, just over in the brush, right? Oh my God!
Oh, sorry, Patty.
You fat jerk, that's not a toilet! Jeez, what an asshole!
The Gralien Grimerican Holiday Fandango 2015 will be back right after this.
to the Gralien Grimerica and now KGRA Christmas Fandango 2015, where we do away with all the bullshit. And we are having a great time, and we've moved from glass to plastic. It's getting quite dangerous here on the program, but we are always thinking safety first. So, we've gotten rid of the glass before someone has an accident. Before Micah and I clinch glass here. But, as we explore the Fortean examples of 2015.
14 examples.
2016.
Race, I know what you're doing there, Race. I have to say, oh God, this is glorious. This is absolutely this would qualify as being glorious Star Lord right here. Okay, Race, have you ever met an alien being?
Oh, I think I've met several of them, son bitches.
I've never met one, but I know people who have.
I've never met one, but I know people who have. That will be the focus of our next Edge of Reality.
Edge of Reality. Let me take a call here. Okay, hold on. Hi there. Yes, I'm calling into Edge of Reality. I have never met a ghost, but I have a family member who thinks that they have encountered a ghost. Do you believe that ghosts exist?
I don't believe ghosts exist, but I know people who have. That will be the focus of our next episode of Edge of Reality.
He was the kind of guy who would come in your office and stand there. He would hang out all night. You could never get rid of him. Lee Spiegel of the Huffington Post.
Hello, Micah. Do you think there's life on Uranus?
No, I know people who have.
Who's anus? I don't think I've seen any life on Uranus, but I know people who claim that it exists there.
Micah, is there rings around Uranus?
Who's anus?
I know there's no rings around Uranus.
This is in our chat room, right?
Yes.
Why is there an echo?
I don't know why this echo.
Actually, it's the echo of Uranus.
From Uranus.
Yeah.
I can tell you why there's actually echo. I can tell you, and the reason why is because Hobbs.
Yeah, that would do it.
Guys, I think we need a news update.
Oh, do we now?
I think we do. News. Some news from somewhere.
He thinks we need some news.
There we go. Although, again, if it's from Uranus, maybe it's news from the back.
I love.
What at though?
What
at though? I've got to fire up this cigar, man. I'm sitting here sucking on a dry cigar.
Why you fire that up? We're gonna hit some
news from the French.
Race Hobbs, ladies and gentlemen. Oh gosh, guys!
I'm just shocked at how your fans, your listeners, they write me just about every day, and about how it really makes them laugh. I've had one guy though that didn't like it. That guy, he was wound pretty tight.
Well, we said to hell with him too. Yeah,
Micah, if you and Micah want people to take you serious, you got to be a tight ass. That guy's eyes closed when his dick gets hard. But there's one in the family, and we have to put up with those. So, but he did take the time to write, and for that, you know who you are, and I thank you for taking the time.
Yeah, thank you for harassing.
I want to thank everybody else who writes with all the positive comments. It's always good to hear from them.
Without erections.
Race, all I have to say is this. It's so sexy. Yeah, you can't handle it.
Rub my feet.
Guys, we are wrapping up the 2015.
Oh, we got what we got to do first, though?
What is it?
We got to make Graham do his.
Profound UFO quote of the week.
Wow, Darren caught me.
Hey, Graham,
you okay with this, Micah?
Graham, I was going to say, could you do your Graham, whatever the hell that thing is, technique? Yeah, please go ahead.
It's the UFO quote of the week.
Okay, go ahead.
It'll be a quick one that we've all heard of.
That's what she said.
Okay.
For the government to continue to maintain that UFOs are non-existent in the face of the documents already released and other cogent evidence presented in this book is puerile and, in a sense, an insult to the American people. That was from Dr. Alan Hynek, PhD, former scientist with Project Blue Book.
Wow.
Debunker. And for those of you who think you need to be told by the government that UFOs are real, we've got Viagra on sale for real cheap.
And seeds.
We do.
Oh, Joshua Cutchin. We'll go ahead and go to you.
Seed bank.
About Viagra? What?
Yes, your thoughts on Viagra.
Okay. Cialis.
Well, it's been a year full of stiff competition, but I'm sure we can power through and always remember to be nice to ourselves and not be too hard on ourselves.
That's right. We're erecting a future here.
Get them by the beach now.
Put your jacket in the morning.
See, we have the Wonder Team right here. This is the team. This is the group. These guys. RPJ, go ahead.
Oh, about Viagra?
Yeah, I have no idea what's going on.
It doesn't have to be about that. Doesn't have to be about
Let me tell you something. That 2015 wasn't a particularly good year for me. I was laid off of my work, of my job in the middle of the year. It was at many times it was a bit hair-raising to try to find how I would make it ends meet. Thankfully, things managed to work out. But one thing that I'm sure I'm grateful for the coming year is that how blessed I am for the friendship that I have with you guys. I mean, it's kind of difficult for me to state it, but to say it, not say it oftenly enough. But I love you guys. I mean, one of the things that I'm really thankful for my life is the wealth of having met you personally, some of you, but hopefully the rest I will manage to meet you in person, and the richness that you have brought into my life. That is one of the things that I'm going to toast for in January the 31st, and I'm going to hope that I'm not going to hope for a new car or a better job or a better income or whatever. I'm going to hope for finally having the chance to once again meet you guys and meet you in person and tell you in person how important all of you are in my life.
Thank you so much, RPJ.
Amen and ditto.
Yeah, I love you too, buddy. Yeah. You make her arm cry.
Can I make I'll make a quick prediction. In 2020, Red Pill Junkie will look back on 2015 as the most transformative and integral year of his life.
It probably could be true.
I would hope for his sake that would be the case. You know, we have a very unique group of people here together right now. We've got Joshua Cutchin, Darren Grimes. We've got Red Pill Junkie, Graham, of course, also of Grimerica, myself included, and of course the legendary Hobbo, Race Hobbs of KGRA Radio. Looking ahead, I look at 2015. Again, it seems as nebulous now, 12 years in hindsight, as it did at the beginning of this year. I don't know that 2016 seems, and I'm just being honest, I don't know that it seems any clearer to me in terms of our outlook and our moving ahead. But what I do feel confident in is that with good minds and with good people, we move ahead together with a sense of togetherness and also with a sense of discrimination in our knowledge and what we gather and what we take as fact. and we hope to try and understand and discern from the future what we gather, what we experience, what we learn in a unique way that helps us to further our knowledge rather than merely allow us to tread water in that proverbial sense, which many, I think, unfortunately do when it comes to these esoteric subjects. So it has been my privilege, pleasure, and frankly, my honor to spend 2015 working with guys the likes of all of you here, Race Hobbs, as well as Graham and Grimes of Grimerica, Joshua Cutchin, of course, author of A Trojan Feast, Pill Junkie, blogger, and also esoteric, phenomenological scholar, really, if we want to call him anything. But he has long been a contributor to the Daily Grail, and also he has contributed his knowledge and his insight to all of our individual endeavors. We've got a lot of people here, and we have a lot to do in the coming year, and so I hope that we can all do that together. Darren, Graham, RPJ, Jestin also, who joined us tonight, Habbo, Joshua Cutchin, all the folks who called in, all of the people who have been guests on tonight's program, and all of those who were not able to join us but who are a part of what we do by virtue of listening, sending emails, being a part of what we do in terms of the furtherance of our knowledge by contributing to what knowledge we have at our disposal. Thank you so much. It has been a true pleasure. Guys, I want to, before we wrap things up here, say, thank you so much for a wonderful year. And final thoughts. Maybe we'll begin with you, Darren Grimes. I know that you have the memory of a goldfish, which is roughly 8 seconds. But given what you can remember, I want to ask you first. Dick move better. Go ahead.
I've lost my train of thought. No, it's been a decent year, I guess. I'm looking forward to 2016. Hopefully we can meet up at Paramania. It was kind of a letdown this year that we didn't get to meet up at the Paradigm debacle of 2015, as it'll come to be known. But I mean, hopefully we can meet up at Paramania, because I mean, if it wasn't for guys like you, Micah, Grimerica probably wouldn't be around. So,
well,
and Star Trek is better than fucking Star Wars.
You wished.
Back in 2015, Darren Grimes showed up at the 2012 Paradigm Symposium. Graham was there. I met both these guys. And at that time, they were not doing a podcast. They were listeners of the Gralien Report podcast. At that time, I was not on the KGRA radio network. At that time, I didn't know Joshua Cutchin. I knew Red Pill Junkie, but I had not met him yet, and he showed up and made his physical presence known at that event. What I have learned in the past few years, and what I carry forth into 2016, is that when we make these kind of physical interactions, when we meet, when we carry our knowledge forth into the future, and we meet and we come together at events, when and where we can, we're a lot better for it. Joshua, I know you're a relative newcomer, but brother, you bring so much knowledge to the field.
Well, I have been overwhelmed by how welcoming and kind everybody that I've met so far has been in this particular area. No, haven't met any dicks yet. Not many dicks, so that's good.
Not any dicks, but you'll meet some dicks. Don't.
Oh, I know it's inevitable, but no, just the ability to have a conversation like we've had over the past 3 hours, and to be on the same wavelength like we have, and to always just take conversations in new directions. It's a special thing, and it's been a privilege to speak with you guys, and it's been an even greater privilege to call you my friends.
Thank you so much. Race Hobbs,
I'll tell you a secret, Josh. Graham's kind of a dick.
we're coming back around to Graham. Don't worry. But Race, I want to come to you, Race. Race, your final thoughts about 2015 and joining us tonight. Race Hobbs. Okay.
We lost him.
Hobbs.
Hobbs.
He may not be there, but that being the case, okay, we'll go ahead and go to Graham.
All right. Well, no, it's a pleasure to get together to do this with you guys. I hope we can do it more often. I mean, 2015 was great. It was interesting. 2016 will be even better. I think I'm just happy to be part of this platform where we can share people's experience and have an open conversation without judgment and ridicule. And I feel blessed to be a part of this whole thing. And I hope we can get together in person April 1st. Graham. And thanks to all the supporters of our show. And thanks to you, Micah.
Yes, exactly. Let's see here. And then finally, I guess the last individual that we have to reckon with here for this live broadcast that we have. Let's see here. We've touched on everybody. Let's see here. Graham, we've talked with Grimes, Josh. Hobbs has he's been conveniently absent. Who are we missing here? Who am I missing?
Pokeroo.
Who?
Don't you guys have fucking Pokeroo down there?
Maybe.
Never mind.
Maybe we don't.
You have to Google it. Polker. No, Polkaroo.
I should look into it, but I don't think that RPJ has chimed in yet.
Oh, well, how much can I say now that I already spilled my guts? Okay, I have one New Year resolution by 2016. I want to finally be able to get on my ass and properly launch the website that I have intended to create. For the last 5-4 months. And it's going to be absurdbydesign.com. And I'm not really sure what I'm going to do with that. At one point I thought that it was going to be some kind of online store for trying to sell T-shirts that I wanted to design. That is still viable. That is still a possibility, although, trying to market these things from Mexico is not going to be easy. But something could be done with that website, maybe, becoming my main hub for the things that I do on other websites like the Daily Grail, which I will still be a contributor of for many years to come, hopefully. Also Mysterious Universe, although I'm regret to admit that I was a bit lazy of this past year, and hopefully will pick up the pace into 2016. And I don't know, it's many other interesting projects that are started to open up. Our common friend Adam Loyal has been talking about creating his own podcast, and hopefully I will be able to give him a hand and maybe contribute on that project. So yeah, I mean, 2016 in some respects seems a bit darker with what things will come. Things aren't looking so bright down here in Mexico. I'm sure the same is in some other countries, even the United States. With the presidential election and how depressing the tone of that election is started to become, thanks to that blonde imbecile by the name of Donald Trump. Hopefully he will not become president, as Darren mockedly predicted. No, he will not.
Boldly predicted.
As God is my witness, he will not become president. But without all those things, when things become dire, people listening, you have to remember that if you're listening to this, is because hopefully this brings some manner of entertainment and some manner of also hopefully joy into your life. Because if you're not into that for the joy or for becoming a better person, then, well, maybe you're listening to this for the wrong reason. So here's hoping that 2016 will bring you that, more joy, more inner growth, and more chance to interact with like-minded people, and that will bring you the kind of blessing that we here, the 4 or 5 of us, are already enjoying.
Well said, buddy. And also, if you're still listening at the 3 hour and 45 minute mark, you are a fucking dedicated fan. And we love
Keep in mind, though, that we had our pre-game show. So we're actually at about 3 hours and 5 minutes. And with that, I suppose that we should really actually kind of begin to wrap things up for this week's, or I'm sorry, I say week.
Maybe
this
monthly. Maybe we could do it monthly, but a weekly seems like a stretch.
Maybe we will. Maybe we should do this.
Quarterly.
At very least quarterly, yeah. On behalf of Red Pill Junkie, Joshua Cutchin, Grams and Grimes, Race Hobbs, all the fine folks who have joined us on this edition of the program. This has been our 2015, what would you call it? A 2015
blowout.
Fandango.
I was going to say a 2015 confabulation, but yes, a Fandango probably qualifies.
First annual, I suppose.
Thank you guys.
First of many.
Thank you guys so much for joining us. All of you who listened, all of you in the listening audience who are a part of what we do, we appreciate it so much. Grimerica.com, GralienReport.com, ExpandedPerspectives.com, and also KGRA.com. You can find us all on social media. You can find us via social media, via our various websites, as aforementioned. Thank you guys so much. We look forward to 2016 being a wonderful time together. And guys, good night, good luck, and we are so sorry that we were a little bit crunked up here on Christmas, right? Good night.
Feliz Año Nuevo!
Happy New Year's.
Merry Crunkmas.
You were alone, wrapping gifts, contemplating to slit wrists, and the stuff you buy